You think it's not important to save our young girls? Because most of these girls are sexually excited before reaching to the age.
Gambian communities, they're always begging. That's a problem.
This is the hard talk, bro. We are not changing. We are not making change. We don't want to change. And it will be difficult for us to see development. Trust me. Nañ toog rek Adama Barrow liggéeyut Macky Sall liggéeyut Lawyer Darboe liggéeyut ñi ñe kenn du what are you doing?
We're back with two amazing guests, Sparklyn Black and Kifa. Two people that are on different fields, but somehow they do intersect. But I will allow them to introduce themselves because they have an amazing story. I will start with Kifa. Sparklyn Black.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum Gambia, and Assalamu alaikum for all the viewers that is connected to those daily dose. You know, this is Mohammed Silla, aka Sparklyn Black. Will that remove me? You know?
So, like, what do you do?
Well, basically, I'm a street specialist.
Street specialist. Okay, break it down for us. What does it mean?
I'm a street specialist. It means I base my career on how to revive the street, how to make it a livable place, you know. And we've been doing this for ages.
Through what? How do you do it? Like how?
I do it through music, through communications, and physically as well.
Okay, by going in person and interacting with the communities.
Of what's happened there.
Okay, so far in your view, in your experience of advocating for some of the issues that we have in society, like what has been some of the present issues in your experience that you've seen?
It's just like all these issues that are happening now is been happening. It's just that it's now increasing. So, on my own point of view, I think it's because of there is no segment in the government that focus on reviving the street. And in that case, I think that's why the crime rate is always going to go higher and higher. Because the street has been neglected for decades. You know, there has never been a government that take in charge of the street. The only thing they have for the street is to send police to go and get them. And they don't even want to know what is the cause of these things. And I think this is why the crime rate is increasing, and I think it's going to increase more and more as long as the same measures is being taken. Yeah.
So in your view, basically, the communities are being policed, but they're not being healed. There's no incentive to basically address the root causes. They're just trying to get rid of the symptoms instead of the root issues. So what are some of the root issues in your experience?
I think there is no community police in the first place.
What do you mean there's no community police?
Because people who are not police don't involve in exposing crime to the police.
Okay.
And we understand that the police cannot do it alone because they're not everywhere. And the reason why there is no community police, that is why what they have to address first, because you need to get the society involved. It's only in Gambia that you see more than 500,000 foreigners are living in the country and they don't interact with the citizens. They're living by themselves. You understand? You don't see them on our national issues. You don't see them getting married to our people. You just see them here and they don't interact with us. It's like they have their own country in our country. And in that way, we cannot really control what these people are really doing in our country. And it's only community police that can decode that because they live in the society, but they don't interact with us. So now the foreign criminals are not traceable because the people who should trace them are the normal citizens, and the normal citizens don't have interest in that. Because here is the deal. 90% of the people who are not patriotic, they see police as business. They don't see it as a crime-cutting ways. It's like they would rather keep the criminal than report him to the police. And that is because the police has created that platform between them and the society.
So, and if I understand correctly, what you're saying is the lack of community policing, which should be executed by the community.
Yeah.
They are not really interested in reporting criminals because the police and the criminals, there's some sort of business. Is that what you're saying?
No, because the police has created an environment where the citizens feel like taking crime to the police
there's no point.
It's not the right way. It's not even the right thing to do, or there is no point. It's more like creating business for police. That's how we're seeing it.
I actually agree with you on that.
And if I am creating business for police and the crime is not getting rid of, then there's no point for me to be taking information to them.
I agree.
Because you see people who've been caught with illicit drugs and been televised, published, and then few weeks you see them on the street again. How would the police that catch that guy feel? How would the informant feel? And the same guy is going to come back in the street and look at you as an enemy. He can even get you killed. So the police must execute the law. We must stop begging masses for victims. We must start sending people to prisons for the crime they commit. And this is what is going to show the general public that we're serious. But if it is selective justice, it will reach to a point where the layman is not going to listen to justice anymore. And this is what exactly is happening. You see people violating the law and televising it and putting it on social media. You see it in Gambia. You see people advertising bleaching cream, and it's illegal.
Yeah.
And you see people boldly going to Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and advertising it. That is telling you there is no law in this country. They're not even doing it behind the curtain. And then you see people. No, this is just serious. That we're not living in a country, we're living.
It's lawless.
Yeah. Because, if the laws are not executed, then there's no point.
Don't you think also that starts from the top? Because, a country...
Everything is the top.
Everything starts from the top.
That's why I said, how would this policeman who do his job to arrest this criminal, after 1 week he saw him on the street, how would he feel? He is not going to bring another criminal again.
Yeah.
So, and who freed these people? It's not the Lines Corporal. It's not the OC. So the IG is and the Ministry of Justice are answerable to crime like this. Because these are not hidden crimes. If people can go to social media and deliberately break the law, if government is welcoming aggressive people who are on social media insulting, and we see them having pictures with our head of states, that doesn't look good.
Great.
And then they will turn around now, go to the street and send police for us. For the little weed that we are smoking on the street. And we have brain, we have eyes, we're seeing all these things. And you think we're going to abide by the rules? Because we're not seeing any rules here. If you go to the prison right now, it's only poor people that the law use to justify that there is justice. Yeah. It's only poor people that the law use to justify that there is justice. Because if you have the price for the ransom, you're not going to jail anymore. 90% of victims doesn't even reach to the station. Their case is being negotiated before the station. And the other 50% is being negotiated in the station. So the court only receive people who cannot afford to pay the ransom and send them to jail as an example of law-making country. You know? And then you pack all these people in mile 2, they're all in one place. And then the bigger criminal is out there doing more damage.
Because they can afford to stay out of
Yes.
jail. Do you have an example, or do you know like a case, a typical case where someone was clearly guilty?
Example is a past tense. Just take your mile 2. You have people that have been caught with 1 joint of weed and they're there for 3 years because they don't even have a lawyer to attend to their cases. So it's no secret. It's going right now as we're speaking. It doesn't need an example. And we have seen cases on the media. But if you go to the prison, you won't find those victims there.
Like which case exactly?
Well, I cannot name a particular case because it's going to involve a particular person. And probably he's not a victim. The victims are people who are protecting him.
So doesn't that just go back to what you were saying earlier, that people are not really interested in policing because they feel like nothing is going to happen?
Yes.
But say me and you, our conversation, if you look at it now,
Yeah.
right? I'm trying to get an example of a particular case and a particular somebody, like a particular name, to kind of use as an example. And you're saying you don't want to mention a name.
Well, there are lots of examples, but okay. See, let's use an example of a late person now.
How about someone that's still alive?
Yeah, but
That's
it's still
roaming in the streets
no,
freely doing damage.
No, it's still a case. It's still a case.
Okay, go on.
We had Boy Bansang here, who was popularly known as a drug dealer. He was not arrested until the public intervened.
He passed away.
He passed away. I had.
Okay. Let's leave the dead to rest. Let's talk about the living.
Well, that's why I'm saying this.
But I do understand what you're saying about basically people that are clearly guilty,
Yeah.
or the public know they're guilty, and there have been articles about it. There have been, cases against them that they've seen. They've been shown to be guilty, but somehow they're still roaming the streets.
So what about the case of those guns they get from the ports? Why would they put it on the media if it wasn't illegal?
Was a particular somebody mentioned?
Well, yes. A gun was recovered in the port a few years ago, and it belongs to a businessman.
Who's the businessman?
I don't want to go there. It's an open secret. Everybody knows that there was a gun recovered owned by somebody.
I don't.
Huh?
I don't know.
Well, I don't want to say the owner of the guns, but what I'm saying is that
Why is it that this is not just you,
Yeah.
right? I have realized it's kind of a Gambian thing where in the name of sutura or in the name of...
No, my case is not sutura. My case is like this.
I just want to know why you
that's
don't
what
want to
I'm-
mention the name.
That's what I'm telling you now. If this victim I don't want to mention was the problem, then I could be biased. If the president is the problem, I would still mention him. But what I'm trying to say here is that this guy who bribed the police to get away his crime is not my problem.
Who's that?
No, what I'm saying is my problem is the people who took the bribe.
The system. The system and the individuals.
Yeah, because
These are two
you know
different
why?
entities.
Yeah, you know why the individual is not my problem. One day there was a police who told me, if you give a bribe to a police, you and the police are all the same. I disagree, because I am a citizen of this country, and this country is not paying me to protect his constitution, but is paying someone else to protect that constitution.
But if I mean, in a way, I would see how that person that is giving the bribe and the person receiving the bribe,
Yeah.
they're not so different. And I'll tell you why. How I'm going to see that is this, right? As a citizen, you do have to be a patriotic citizen. You do have to care about the security and the safety and the integrity of your society, meaning you do have a role to play in getting rid of corruption. You cannot partake in it. You cannot participate by offering bribes. Consequently, you as a police officer who swore in to basically protect and get rid of corruption, you should not receive that you should not receive that bribery. So it's a double-edged sword.
No.
You as a citizen, you do have a responsibility.
No. What you're saying, that is a choice. If what you're saying was a fact, we wouldn't need police stations. We wouldn't need soldiers.
We actually shouldn't need
No, we
those.
would, exactly. But the reason why we need them is because we know that people are not going to abide by this law, or not everybody will abide by this law. And knowing that, that's why the taxpayer takes his money and employs some of his citizens to go on the street and protect that law and make sure that law is being practiced. So the problem here is not the guy that is not being paid to protect the law. If a two civilian break the law, it's a different case for me. But you, I'm a citizen, you are a citizen. The government does not even give me a job, but he give you a job. Pay you a salary to protect this. So if I break it and you break it, it's not going to be at the same level of corruption.
No, it's different levels.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
But now also, the reason why this one who is paid through, this one should be the one to insist. Because I was expected to break it. That's why you have been employed. You can understand? The reason why this guy has been employed is because the government expect that I will break this law. So now that I break this law, there are punishment laid for me. It's not that I'm going to go scot-free. So if this guy decided to take the ransom of my freedom, that is not my problem. Because I want to be free. So the problem is they should put pressure on the people that they are paying, because they cannot put pressure to the layman. So we must understand our responsibility. It's true, as a patriotic, we shouldn't offer bribe. But to me, if you are a patriotic, you shouldn't even commit that crime that you are going to offer a bribe of.
Exactly.
So, hence that is not going to happen. I think we just have to, everybody has to take your responsibility. Police, if the police do his job, there is no way that a citizen is going to give a bribe. There is no way. And the fact that we've been paying them to do that, we cannot give them excuse.
No, I mean, I do agree with you, because even on a personal experience, when it comes to justice, I've been in a situation where I needed justice to be served because I was wronged. Right? And it never happened because of corruption again. You know, you go to the police, and then it's the police basically side with the person, with the highest bidder. If you have the most money, you go scot-free. And the person that do not have the money, basically either justice is not served on your behalf, or you are punished for something that could have been easily avoided. I do have the experience. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done within the justice system. Like you said, the poor people are the ones that are suffering because we don't have the means to defend ourselves, and this is a big problem. I do not disagree with you by any metric, but what I'm saying is, as citizens, right? We shouldn't. I mean, the reason why we have the military and the police and maybe these other means of forces is to deter, but by right, not by right, ideally, we shouldn't even be policed. Because we just need to be upright and understand the roles and responsibilities as citizens, right? So it's a two-way system.
It is definitely
the root cause that we were mentioning earlier, the root cause comes down to this individual citizens or the individual communities. What the police can do is to see if there's a problem here, we come and we fix it by the way we know how to fix it. But like say drug abuse, murder, theft, things like this, these are deeply rooted issues. The police cannot for example, go and try to dig out what the root problem is or what the root causes are.
Yeah, but the way the police is handling the matter is making these people who are causing this crime to be fearless. This is my point. If you go to Senegal, our neighboring country, you don't see people smoking weed. Everybody is frightened of smoking weed on the street.
Why do you think that is?
Because if you are caught, you are going to jail. There is no amount of bribe you can give. The law is there.
You think in Senegal bribery is not happening?
Well, it's happening. But
I
what
think
I'm
it's
saying,
just more expensive.
No. When that's why I say drug. When it's come to weed, there is less bribe taken by Senegalese.
I can promise you, if you pay the right price,
wait, that's fine.
Doesn't matter how much weed you're caught with.
That's fine.
You'll still go
but
scot-free.
at least
Just
the
more
right price.
expensive.
At least the right price is going to limit the crime because not
Agreed.
everybody
I
will.
agree.
But here,
I
there
agree.
is no right price. Every price is a right price. Understand? Lolu moy problem bi.
I agree.
Senegal.
I agree.
Fee, it doesn't matter you're rich, you are poor, you are a foreigner,
Yeah,
or you're from the West. You can be free.
I agree.
In Senegal, probably you need connection first.
Yeah. It's
In
more,
Gambia,
it's
you
more
don't.
strict.
Yeah, you don't need connection. So that is a clear example that the way these people are handling this case, and you have 90% of the drug squad, the police, the soldiers. Those days when I was young, I always used to dream of being a soldier. And the reason why I was dreaming that is because I wanted to defend my country. Because when I look at movies, when I see how soldiers go to war to defend their country, you know what I mean? But now, people join the drug squad because they want to have 30 by 30 at Banyaka and start building. People join the soldier.
It's a business now.
Yeah, people join the army because they want to be lucky and go to Darfur. You see soldiers going to Marabout because they want to go to Darfur. And how long would that war stay now if all these people are praying to get rich through a war? That's serious, bro. So, is this a security concept? Those days you have people who want to join the force because they are anti-crime. We see them. Some of the, everybody who grew up here, one police or one soldier, when you were young, he was a strict guy. And that because those people join the army or the police because they are anti-drug or they are anti-crime. The level will be different.
The intentions were
Very
genuine.
different.
Yeah.
So now that these people have wrong intention to join these forces and they got less paid, it's going to be worse.
I do want to go back to another point that you make earlier about the citizens, about foreigners that come in and how they live in their own communities. But I want to go to Kifa. Fate Omalade, bro.
Yeah, it's okay.
Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Thank you, Gando, for welcoming me to this important show, The Daily Dose. My name is Kifa Barhama, a journalist and community youth leader, and also owns a media house. I advocate for a society, a drug-free society. I'm the official brand ambassador of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Yes, and that's Kifa basically.
It's interesting. I mean, you've heard Sparklyn say a few things with regards to corruption within the law enforcers. What's your comment on it, especially drug squad, as an ambassador?
Yes, for my part, what I want to say is everything begins at home. All of us, we were trained by our elders, our parents, our guardians, and looking at yesterday and today, all of it were Demba Aktay, the difference that we have, and the proper home training that we have, and looking at the children of today, there is a total different. So before we even talk about the law to my side, or even there is a part that I'll have to come to that. But as the ambassador for the agency, my role is not to enforce laws. My role is not for arresting. My role is to make sure that I will engage the community, especially the youth at large, in the areas of sensitization, in the areas of rehabilitation. Because I'm a global master trainer on substance use disorder counselor, like SUD. So enforcing the law, there are officers responsible for that under the agency. And when it comes to my side, I am more of trying to bring reform, trying to bring these youths back to their normal senses, try to help them. because addictions, for me, I don't look at it as criminal. I look at it as as a sickness. ñii dañ feebar, like any other person that is suffering from malaria or from HIV. So I am trying to help these people to make sure that they are back in the society, because people are looking at them as the black sheep of the family, which is a different story. So for me, I'm bringing them back to the society to make sure that the Igbo that we know yesterday is the same Igbo, because of the stigmatization. If you look at the last year, 2023, 26 June, that's the commemorations of the World Drug Day. The theme was stigmatizations, because if you look at the celebration, the commemoration, it was being discussed that there are a lot of stigmatized within the society, especially those with addiction. So we are trying to make sure that these people, we help them to make sure that they contribute their quota to the development of the country or within their community level, or even when it comes to self-help, because they also need to help themselves, help their families. So in that side, I might not be witnessing corruption, but we all know that corruption exists. We know it exists. I always want to speak when I have seen someone talking about their own stories. I don't disagree that there is no corruption. And there is nobody that says in this world there is no environment or no department or institution that corruption is not existing. But it can be minimal. Just like as you said in the middle of your conversation, that it might happen in Senegal. Maybe it's minimal, but it's happening. So in that side, not directly speaking for the agency, yes, I may say, but I have seen since I engaged them in public advocacy, we have been doing a lot when it comes to reaching out to people, when it comes to community outreach programs, having programs at radio stations, TV stations, because I've seen in the later part that their role is not only to arrest, but they are also there to reform. And I've seen they have been doing a lot of, executing a lot of measures to make sure that they will help these boys to return back to the society, which I have witnessed myself. So in that part, I think the agency alone cannot do it. I, Kifa, as the goodwill ambassador, cannot do it alone. But also the parents have a role to play, which is definitely lacking. Okay, now, we talk about criminals, or we talk about addictions, we talk about drug trafficking. Where are those people doing it? They are doing it outside of the streets? No. They are traveling yes, they are traveling from one place to another, but they are also using it in their houses. They are accommodating these negative suicidal behaviors in their houses. Some of them, their parents welcome their own way of doing things. Your mom is there. Okay, I'm age of 12 years, 4 years. I will come to that as a community youth leader during my community outreach activity programs, like meeting youths. I have observed things that I know that this is not the responsibility of the government. This is not the responsibility of the agency, but this is the responsibility of the parents. Looking at a kid that is at grade 4. Can you imagine, just day before yesterday, I went out in London Corner in various communities, looking at a kid with grade 4, at grade 4, a kid with grade 5. I think it's only one of them that is in grade 7. I met them smoking hashish, comfortably in the street, very open. So these are issues should be addressed at home, because hale doko baye mu yaro sago muy dem fu ko neex rek. There is a program for the kid. You have to go to school. When you close school at 4, you need to go to Dara, or you need to go to studies. At evening 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you need to return to bed. This is how I was grown up. I could remember. Dofolosa after Timis, you are outside of the street. So you a monkey dance. Don't need your ongsa boba with other punishments. So we all know that things are changing, but things are changing. It's not the sky or the birds that are changing things. We as humans, we are the one changes things. There is nothing like the world has changed. We have changed, but not the world.
Why do you think that is, though?
Yes, because to me, I feel that there is no parental care. Basically, that's the problem. There is no parental care.
Parenting is lacking.
Yes, it's totally lacking. Now, let's see. You keep on having kids. Yes, that's your own family planning. And then you keep on having kids. You are not willing to take care of your kids. Because taking care of your kids is not only I don't have money to take care of them. But we all know how like the cultural values, the norms that we have been, our parents have been giving us since we were very young.
Yeah.
Danga ew, okay, they teach you how to prepare the breakfast. They teach you even how to greet elders. I could remember my grandmom, the Amon Gan, then the visitor came to the house. After the visitor left, my grandmom asked me, kii lan la sol? Ma rëccale ne ko lu blue. Bés boobu aw ma jàmm. Suma gémmiñ bi yëpp la toj. So just to give you some tips of our parents, our old parents, naka lañ daan yaree seen doom yi. So this is totally lacking. Okay, you are watching series movies with your son till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and your son's supposed to go to school. Sa doom dafa def dara yow nijaay bi si biir kër bi nga dóor ko nga ne la soo dóoratee suma doom ma yóbbu la police. So all these are contributing factors when it comes to, helping our younger generations to be a future leaders. Because being a future leader, it starts at home, to be honest. We also have parental issues. Even you, I, and Sparklyn, we all know how our mom take care of us. Ak yaay yu mujjee juddu nii, sister yu mujjee sëy wala koto yu mujjee sëy, yarewuñ ñoom nuñ leen yarewuñ ko seen doom yi. Xëj na yaa ngi ko ooyee foofu pet child, my sonny boy, suma taaw bu góor bi, and all these things, xale bi lu ko neex la moo def. We have seen it. Before even the schools. Xale yi lu ñoo def si mbedd bi, lu ñoo def si school si, lu ñoo def in everywhere. It started at home. Let me tell you this. Because it's not an excuse as a parent. How mo sa ne apply lii la nekkee? How mo ne faatu sax du fi dee fanaan? That is careless. If you're looking at, when you go back to our books, whether it's religiously or you say books written by people, come on, it's carelessly. So I think parents also contributed a lot when it comes to these issues. In the side of let's say in the government as a whole, I am saying we are the government. I'm surprised that Gambians at large, because I may travel. I have traveled different countries, from different continents. But you see in other countries, like I heard Sparklyn mentioning a very important point that community policing, it's very important in every society. But before we have we have few community policing. Serekunda, they have in one, and it is effective. But the other issue is, we cannot be having our own or establishing a community policing, and we believe it's going to be effective, whilst we are harboring our own criminals. We are accommodating our own criminals. Su defee ñu ne xay saay jarbaati diw la saay suma cousin la that maslaha syndrome, and you even has mentioned it. But when my child have did part, and I know that my child have stolen a property of someone, and then the police is there, you know daf ñu indil police, and now you becomes an enemy in the public. So all these things, I think we should address it. Before that community policing can even be effective, we should even change, because change has to begin with you.
Agreed.
We have attitudinal problem.
Agreed.
That's the problem of this country, because it starts at home. And it's the same people that are crying for lack of employment. Yes, which is right. We all know it. We are all facing the economic tsunami. Lack of employment, lack of job, dunda bi dafa seer, and the same people that you will be giving them job, they will be in the offices. They will be TikToking from morning to evening. And the same people that will also complain that moto amuto. And it's the same people that will be giving you scenarios that every week suma mom dafa dee, every week my mom is sick. It's the same people that we are complaining there is no job. Meet them in government departments. Before we start complaining at central government level, I am not saying we should not complain at the central government level, but we also have a problem at home. Xoolal naka lañ téye wante rek tey bala nga ko doon xam, just to tell you the attitude of the Gambian. Just start selling mburo ñebe at your doorstep. They will pass you there and go to Senegambia and have dinner. To tell you that we are not empowering each other. We are not empowering the truth. We are not empowering our efforts. Because all the time I always say this country, bugguñ ñetti façon yi nit. Waxkat yi dëgga bi, liggéeykat, soo nekkee waxkat yi dëgga duñ la dégg ñu weddi la. Soo nekkee liggéeykat ñu nasax loola. Bugguñ ñii, bugguñ waxkat yi dëgga bi, bugguñ liggéeykat, bugguñ borom xam-xam bi. Dëkk nag su buggut borom xam-xam, buggut liggéeykat, buggut waxkat yi dëgga, dëkk boobu dafa tumuranke. And Gambia, that's the level we are. It is very sad as a nation that we are not working as a nation. We are not pushing as a nation. We are not struggling as a nation. But we are fighting one another as a nation, which is very sad. So before we talk about the central government, we should talk about our attitude. Because it's the same people at home that are working within that central government institution that we are talking about. Nañu régler suñ kër yaa njëkk a am problème. Before we talk about anywhere, let's régler suñ kër yi ba pare. And when it comes to the side of the government, I will bring you both sides. I always want to speak for both sides. I just speak from the community level. Now, coming to the government, we don't have a structured government in place. If we have a structured government in place and a serious government in place, Gambia is one of the, I would say, the smallest country on the mainland. Look at, we have Mauritius here. Mauritius is very close to Madagascar. I was once in Mauritius. You look at Port Louis in Mauritius. These people there, I would say their natural resources, the majority of their natural resources is fish and cotton. We even have more larger fish in quantity than even Mauritius. We have here, looking at the mackerel tuna. The mackerel tuna, you can produce sardine in the mackerel tuna. You can produce cod liver oil in the mackerel tuna, fish oil in the mackerel tuna. We have different types of species of fishes in our oceans. Looking at the Atlantic Ocean, how connected it is to the world oceans. We have a lot of things. I don't want people to talk about, we don't have diamonds, we don't have gold, we don't have oil. We don't need that to develop a country. We need a collective mindset, positive people with positive vibes, positive people with the commitment and with patriotism. These are the type of people we need. If we were talking about PhDs, I think, how many PhDs do we have in this country? They should have developed the country. If you look at the agriculture, they said it's the backbone of the Gambia. Now, how many PhD? I would say the minimum diplomas or PhD degree holders in agriculture. They have the highest degree holders in the entire Gambia at the agricultural level. If you go to the Ministry of Agriculture, the minimum guys that you see they are working, their staffs, they have bachelor's degree in agriculture, bachelor's degree in so and so and so, you name them. So what are we doing if we are talking about education, that we don't have education to push our agenda? We have the education. We already have it. We have the enough human resources to make sure that we move this country. But why we are not moving? Because of attitudinal problem and selfishness. Okay, as a leader, I will, this message goes direct to President Barrow, because we know, we all see how the country is moving. It is not moving, and everybody knows that. I'm not speaking politically, because I'm not here for Mr. Y and Mr. Z. Nobody fits me. I am speaking for the interests of the Gambians at large. If we said agriculture is the backbone of this country, we have Jahali and Pacha. Jahali and Pacha alone, I heard from the experts saying that Munna Dundal Gambia and Senegal. Jahali and Pacha alone, Munna Dundal Gambia and Senegal. Why are we still importing rice? And rice is one of the major meals that people are eating a day. It's not only even Gambia. If you go to Asia, Middle East, people eat rice as we eat rice. Look at India. You look at Pakistan. We were depending on them for rice importations. Now, what about if they have a tsunami? What about if they have drought and we could not have access to their foods? What are we going to do? Are we going to continue to eat bread? So we have a lot of things. Kus, you mentioned the maize. All these are things I could remember when we were young. Then rere chere. Then you like how to call it nyeleng. Ak yenen, you name them, boom. All different types of food lo xamne dañ ko daan mëna lekk ci dee bi fekk dang daan ndeewu. You have breakfast, you have lunch, you have evening meal, and even you have night meal. We were eating 4 times a day. Jame come. We started eating 3 times a day. Barrow came. We started eating 1 time a day. So if we want to address these matters, we have to start from home and then also at economic level.
I agree.
Because them na ñëw na wax bi is attitudinal problem.
I agree with
and
you.
many are working with them as so-called experts. Sorry for this language. They are not telling the president the truth. If the president say hawma, why am nga ñu xam? Gestul? Yes, with all what we were saying about Jammeh, whether it's right or wrong, Jammeh was doing his own findings. Da nga to gudi mu yox yoot solu bandi dem l'hôpital seet ñanay nelaw nekkuñ di def sa liggéey wala mu toog rek fo la ci port bi unexpected visit mu def liggéeyam. So as a president, I don't believe you should be also depending on first-hand informations. We have a problem as a nation, and we have experts. We have permanent secretaries. We have directors. These are the people that advise the minister to make sure that what we're supposed to do as at ministerial level is the work is going. So where are those experts that are called permanent secretaries to make sure that they decide for the goal and objective of this country that we call the so-called smiling coast? It is not happening. We talk about, yes, corruption. What causes corruption? One, we know that poverty is part of it. Poverty is one of the main things that causes corruptions. How can a police officer receiving a salary less than $5,000, receiving a salary of $3,000? What are you thinking? So all these people, see that they are suffering like any other person in this world. They are not being respected. They are not being given their incentives. I mean, correct incentives, not, come on, these people need to be cared. Before these people cared on us, we need to care on them. We have been giving them the incentives through our taxpayers' money, but it's going through the central government, through the Minister of Finance. How are they catering this budget? Condamné bi xaalis yi dëkk bi xaalis boobu naka lañ ko nekk di tasaaree ndax ñu ngi ko tasaaree fu ñu ko war a jaarale ndax ñu ngi koo jox ñu ngi ko war a jox. Look at our doctors, look at our police officers, look at our teachers. These are the most important people.
Basically the civil servants.
Yes, civil servants. And they have the lowest incentives. They are not even being respected. Yanko is daily, yes, no. But as Patrick Lumumba said, if you want to get rich in Africa, it's better you become a politician.
Agree, yeah.
And this is what is happening.
He's right.
But Gambia is becoming worse. Because looking at all the African countries that I traveled, Gambia is definitely lagging behind. Even the Guinea-Bissau of yesterday, they are moving. And they have been firing bombs and bazookas. But go to Guinea-Bissau now and see the difference. You go to other countries and see the difference. And you look at Gambia. So if we want to talk about that we are developing, what is development? Development, it relies on the 3 basic needs: food, shelter, and clothing. And development starts from there.
There's no food security.
Yes. You are receiving a salary of 3,000 and you are paying a rent of 10,000. Regulations amut. You are receiving a salary of 3,000 and you said the past be, your fish money is $10,000 is the month. $100 cannot feed you with your family a day. Everybody knows that. Even breakfast. You cannot use $100 to eat with one wife with 3 kids. We all know what is happening. And why the government, they are not concentrating on these areas. And when it comes to health, you don't even talk about it. So it means we have failed in all sectors. Which sector is moving, is improving in this country? Even the religion, there is a handicap in the religion. You come to the music, you don't talk about it. You come to agriculture, you don't talk about it. The fishery sectors, you don't talk about it. Every sector in this country, I'm telling you, my brother, is not improving. I can give you millions of reasons. And who feels it knows it. These are true stories that are happening. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the high time for everyone as a citizen to make sure that we come out. It's not only talking, but also doing it. For me personally, I am playing my part to the younger ones at community level. I'm not being employed. I'm not a government minister. I'm not receiving any taxpayers' money. But I am using the little token that I am having to make sure that to support the younger ones that are especially addicted in drugs abuse. And also helping other people that are having zero support to make sure to return back to school. These are my concentration areas. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, yeah, you've said a lot that needs to be unpacked.
Yes.
And I do agree with you. It's on both sides. It's not just on the government level, but it also comes down to societal level, down to the home level. Because at the end of the day, the home is the backbone of society.
Yes.
If the home is not correct, society cannot be correct. If you see you're having thieves, murderers, drug dealers.
It comes from home.
It comes from the house.
Yes.
It mean, like they said, charity begins at home. So if the house is not correct, there is no way the society is going to be any different. And the government is a reflection of the people. The government is not like an alien body that just came and sat there and then they are ruling us, right? It's us that is going there.
Or at our building.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I do agree with you on one end, but on the other hand, I do think we as individuals, we do need to take responsibility for what's happening to us. We hear a lot of blaming, like, but what are we doing ourselves? Like you were saying, people cry there's no employment, and then they get employment, but they don't respect their jobs. They make excuses. They steal from their employers. They're lazy, right? They are not given the wargal of just demarek. I was at a printing shop. This lady, I was observing her. She was turning on her computer to do a service for me. Like literally, si souf la don tufele. Fum tog nono. Mu ngi nekk di spit. Mu ngi wax man di lekka. I'm like, if I wanted to employ you, maybe I see you and I want to put in a certain position, I would never consider you. And she doesn't even realize this. In your own workplace, you're eating ebe and you're spitting on the floor. That just shows you a reflection of how they, if they are like that in their workplace, how are they at home?
So just to add on what you say, because I think they can be made good, in the sense that we are still eating in the same bowl. Kaila ñu añ. I travel to countries that I don't want to mention their names. Even if you want to take ablution, you will buy water.
That is true.
Unluckily, because I'm not used to some of them, their foods, because I like eating. So I was eating all types of food just to make sure to get experience, because manama den kumpa. So within that, I get this diarrhea. So I was traveling like from 4 hours drive from my residence. So I drove from the car. I asked for help that I want to ease myself. We call it the second toilet. And then the lady immediately told me that she did not have time to talk to me because she's 7. I rushed to a nearby school. I knocked at the gate, and the gate man opened the door. I asked him, I want to use the toilet. The gate man asked me that, no, the toilet is not meant for me. And the door was closed. So I went to one of the fitter garage in that area. I asked them, they told me that their toilet is even full. They are planning to contribute to remove the waste. Then they have to direct me to one of the public toilet that I have to pay. You know, sometimes we know certain conditions might be keep triggering. And then I have to pay some amount of money to make sure that to use the toilet. So immediately I cleaned myself, wanted to go out, the condition repeated. So I need to return back to the toilet. So I asked the man to refill the bucket for me. The man told me that I cannot refill the bucket because your money is finished. When the water is finished, then it means your money is finished. You have to pay back. Again. So I know if I have to pay back, if I have to pay another money, I will not be able to return because my fares will not be enough. And what I did is he told me that we have newspapers. It's cheaper than the water. I have to use it to clean myself. So as far as we are saying, suma mak yoye namali, ya nakala, julibi jotna, because we have things easily. You only have man of the house. Somebody they call a breadwinner of the house. Mkena moy feye ku 4,000, 5,000, moy jina cash power, moy jina malo, moy jina everything. The rest are sleeping. The rest are relaxing. And nobody cares. Nobody talks about this. So we have to address our problems in our family house.
I agree with you.
Yes, and we are not even supporting one another as a family.
Yeah.
Look at the Indians here. Let me just take a good example of them. They can come with 10 or 15 in number. You thought that they might not be a relative, whilst all of them came from a big family. You look at my Sumadomi Bajani, Sumboki Poli. One will be selling bitter cola. Before you know, the person will add mint on this, minty fresh. Before you know, open Natangana. Look at Basiru omelette at Westfield. That man now, the omelette that the man is selling, everybody is going there. Even the people with the 4 wheels, they used to go there just for omelette. And even the omelette is more expensive than pizza. And the man is making a lot of money and building a good house in Guinea-Conakry. As people who knows it told me this. So what are we calling that I don't have a work? Are we not innovative?
It's laziness.
It's laziness.
It comes out to
I went to the Chinese wall. I have seen how they work.
It's not laziness. It's beyond laziness.
It's beyond laziness.
Yeah, but then this is the problem. We all know we had a problem, but we all don't want to know where the problem is coming from.
It's comme ça dum ko waxe rek comme waxati deug bi as soon as nga point ligne out, you become public enemy number 1.
No, but the cause of this problem is the most valuable thing for the country. You see the point? So that means this problem will only increase. Because what is causing the problem is what we are upholding as a gem to navigate as a people. And this whole problem is coming from these things that we love so much, respect so much, sending our kids there, our educational system.
Okay.
Africa has never been...
Sparklyn, come on. I would disagree with you on that one.
How?
See, when it comes to modern education, like the school system, like it doesn't encompass the whole
problem.
Education, right? It's just a part of. Education is not just school.
It's not a part,
bro. I'm not xamantene janguñ musu ñu dem school. Ñom ñola gëna yaru. Ñom ñola gëna xam seen soxla. Understand nga? Am na ñu dem school tamit. Ñom ñola gëna yaru. Ñom ñola gëna xam seen soxla.
What we are saying here is different. What I'm saying is different. Sometimes the trap is laid here, but you're going to feel it here. Listen, like he said, we were not like this. When Africa was not a place whereby we has to work in an office to eat. We were living in a place whereby we architect our own food, our own drink, our own medication. And this thing has been changed by people, using our people in the name of education. Probably there is a good side for it, but trust me, what education, not education, because when you say education, the meaning is so wide, but the type of educational system.
Are you talking about the schools?
The type of schooling system that is brought to us is the cause of the corruption, is the cause of the laziness, is the cause of the failure of the entire continent. Why? We were not given the chance to display our God-given talent as a continent. Building this country doesn't mean that we have to be ordering flat screen from China, hiring contractors to make the road, make it nice. That's not the purpose of being living. So they deprive us this purpose now.
Through what? Through
education.
System. Okay, now my question to you would be, right? If you look at places like Ghana, we have in the same schooling system.
Ghana is worse than us. What I'm saying, all African countries are having the same problem.
No,
I'm telling you, bro. Why are we not?
I would want him to comment on that.
No, I am telling you. Some are evaluating, some are moving, but I am telling you the problem we have in Gambia. If you go to Senegal, they have the same problem.
Like what problems exactly?
The problem, whatever you guys mentioned here, come laziness be. Xam nga fan la problem bi nekk si man. Problem bi ñu ko mën a solve mooy, it's not the masses. The masses has been controlled, and they were forced to be that situation. So now we need a set of new leaders with the idea of getting back our continent, getting back ourselves. Dinga fi suñu waxe government, boy, we are not employing presidents pour mu manager ñu suñu wealth bi ak yoyu alone. Needy ñoy deka, not the resources. Because resources, no matter how valuable they are, is for us as a people. So legi su nekké ne ñun jël nañ ñu gëna ñuñ fogg ne ñom lañ óolu ñu jox leen pour ñu tekkeyal ñu this set of a people ñu mëna grow as a people. Legi ñoñu seen main objective mo nekka xalé yi di juddu, how do we make them future leaders? Because no matter how much cars or planes you bring in, if people are not right, it's still going to be useless. So legi, in African countries, especially Gambia, the country I'm living in, so deme xale bu am 7 years nga yóbbu ko school from nursing school by grade 12, apart from, I call it from nursing school by grade 12, foofu la ñu yaaxee. Because number one, luñ fa munti jànga is not for us.
Come na ko non.
Bro, make good ben sense. Like we all know, like last time maa ngi TikTok ñu ngi wone benn xale mu ngi dëkk buñ ko wax mu wax capital city bi, and people were clapping. Bro, how would that add value to Africa? Knowing all the capitals in the world.
Okay.
Knowing all the insects, all the animals. Knowing your environmental study. They cannot tell me they teach me maths because my mom know 1 + 1 is 2 and she didn't go to school. I know this is chest, I know this is eye, I know this is ear. So I don't need to go to school to know that. Like he said, some people don't go to school and they're doing best than these university graduates. So here is the thing. They deprived us from practicing our God-given talent. Xale boo xam ne nii mu ngi juddu mu ngi am gift. Ñun gis nañ fi xale yi daan defar toy, ñi di defar moto ba di ko utal battery muy daw. We have seen that. So léegi xale boobu, you are going to put him in an educational system that is going to teach him A for apple, B for ball. Nga janga 12 years mënuloo even connect a ball pour mu taaka mënuloo defar towu nga janga 12 years mënuloo create anything loo xam ne ni masses bi dañ ko soxla to use, and we call that education. Su nekkoon ne aduna bi léegi nii dañ demoon back to zero ñu war a startaat Africa du dem, because we everything lu ñu am as digital or valuable, we order it from the West. We have natural resources. One ma ban dëkk moo amee xale yoo xam ne mu ngi leen a train to learn how to drain a oil or how to refine a oil. Chinese people are learning it, they don't have oil. We are here, we are learning about commerce, banking. We are learning about what? The Ministry of... Because the reason why the government has to be responsible is because we know the society is not right. That's why we choose them. The Ministry of Agriculture. Amuñ tool. How are you making your money? Yéen a ngi am lands, fertile lands. Yéen amuleen benn tool sax. How are you going to pay your staffs? Nga am Ministry of Education. Probably the minister is not educated. Nga am Ministry of Communication Technology. Munta unlock Nokia mobile phone when academic students in China are making a whole lot of phone and selling it to us, and you tell me that is education? Boy,
okay.
The problem is more nekane, huh? As long as defaruñ niti ñu nekk nit, ah, educational system bi su nekkoon ne dafa am at least 3-4 main course. Don't tell me I'm not technical drawing ak nonsense yooyu, because loolu dañ ko essayer as a side hustle because they know people like gonna come and mention it.
You don't think it's important to...
It is important. They don't put it as the importance. You know why they put it? So that we will not see the trap.
What's the trap?
The trap is every school supposed to be a skill center. Not a school where we learn math, English, science, social study.
These are important.
These are not important in our daily life. We know this. These are natural facts. These are not things we're supposed to learn.
Okay. Let me just step in for a minute, right? Yeah. And why I would disagree. Yeah. I do agree on the part.
No, I like disagree.
No, of course.
Then I can explain more.
Yeah, I mean the thing here is we learn from each other,
yeah.
right? I agree with you on one side.
Yeah.
And that side is we do need skill centers.
Yeah.
Skills are very important.
Not do. All the schools. We can learn math, English, science.
No, I agree with you. Let me
but
just
it
learn.
has to be, before you learn, so that you will not contradict yourself.
I will not. I'm just addressing your point.
It has to be as compulsory as maths, English, and science. If you don't pass maths and English, you cannot go to that university. So if it was compulsory, either carpentry or mechanic or masonry or engineer, if you don't pass any of this course, don't go to them university. Then we will have so much in the engineers. But listen, this is a setup. This is a setup because this technical drawing, different Boma is not compulsory. When it's supposed to be compulsory, that is the real school now.
Okay, so look, Arma, just break down your points a little bit. I agree with you on the side where we do need skill centers. Skills is a very important thing to acquire as anyone, because if things go bad tomorrow, it's not your banking and finance that would come in handy. It's the skill that you've acquired. But in a society that's developing, that's moving, we're trying to move towards, we're trying to be like the West. Not with their problems, but in terms of development, right? You do need certain knowledgeable people on banking and finance. You need people that can do programming. Let me just address these things.
Let me stop you there. You know, we need it, but do you know how do you get that? Do you know how the West do that? Wait, do you know how the West do that?
How do they do that?
You see, the real people of the West, if they go to a school, let's say if everything was skill center, we will still have like the woodwork, and we will still have school for accounting and all those. When they come, they will see kids that are not practically good and they are academic wise good. Those are the kids they pick. Those are the kids they send to that school, because we definitely need it. But we need the masses. How many banks do we have? How many offices do we have? So this is how you run, like if they're interested in making the people, This is what you do. And the few people that you think they're good, you pick them. And those are the people you send to those schools. But what happened here is the West designed this to us. And at the end, I think what happened is they come and rob our talent again. They give us this so-called education. And every graduation, probably they give 100 or 200 scholarship. That is a bad thing to do.
Actually, it's, okay.
No government in the world should allow that.
Now wait. Let's just dissect everything you've said.
Yeah.
To bits and pieces, right, and address it.
Yeah.
But I do want you to give me the chance to explain.
Please, yeah.
Now, when it comes to modern education, it is important.
Yeah.
The idea that it's a trap, where it's designed to trap, to basically put us in a stagnant position.
Yeah.
I do not agree with that.
You have to agree.
No, you do have to present evidence.
Let me present evidence.
I will talk to Kifa.
I'll give you evidence. No, I have evidence.
Let me just land.
Yeah.
Let me just land. You have agreed that you let me land.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the point that I'm trying to make is the way our educational system is structured. There is a structure to it, right? You have your nursery school, you have your primary education, you have your secondary education, and then you have your high school, for example. These 3 different levels of education is to prepare you, right, to what it is that you want to pick. You do need basic knowledge. You do need basic knowledge in math. You need basic knowledge in English. You need biology. You need social studies. You need all these subjects that they're bringing you. Now, if you decide to become, say, a biologist, which is very important in a society, right? Biology as a subject would come in handy, right? Sociology as a subject would come in handy for you, because you cannot be a biologist without having prior knowledge in these subjects. Yeah. At the end of the day, people have choices. You make your own choice on what it is that you want to become. And your parent has a big role to play in that.
Yeah.
If you realize your child is not academically good, put them through a skill center. And there are skill centers here, right? But if you decide to keep pushing your child to do schooling when you know that this person is not good in schooling in the name of ki dawmam mungi school, mantame fox ma dawmi them through school, it's your fault.
No, because when they bring school, the government introduced schooling system to us. And the branding that come with it is the key of life.
What's the branding?
Education is the key of life. That was what we were told when we were in school. So we all need that key.
Look.
No, wait. I'm coming to the parental part now.
Look.
No, I'm coming to the parental. Wait, I'm coming to the parental part now. If the government bring us school and package it so well, and show us that you cannot make it in life without this package, every parent would like to push their kid. Yes, they should have choose for them to go for the next option, but that is if they value the next option. But at the time, the government does not value any other option than education.
But what the government needs, the government is pushing what they need.
No, the government should push something on our interest.
Okay, now
this is where the problem is.
This is
if
why,
we are the government.
This is why there's options.
Yeah.
If you don't want your child to go through...
No, you choose, they make you to choose that option on the wrong time. No, there is no option.
I refuse to believe that.
You know when they allow you to choose that option? When it's too late. Listen.
No.
Listen.
I just want to go back to the
because so neke 7 years. So neke 7 hale. Lo muna def. Si looy nekk ba mag noo faa mën a nekkee professionnel. waaye ñu isi la script ñu impose la a script boo xam ne da nga ko jàng ba nga am 19 years. Bro, there are other gates of learning that is already closed. Now this guy, if in léegi su choosee pour nekk a mécanique sax du mën a nekk a good mechanic like this guy who started from when he was a kid.
Look, Sparklyn, if you want to become a really good mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Do lambantu. Let me just explain.
Okay, no, I'm not saying repair. What I'm saying is, you 1 minute more. What about ko hamne moko invent?
Harama explain la dara. Gis na ko invent, ako ko janga they different. Now, I'll explain that. Let me just explain something, right? If you want to become a really good mechanic, right, you do need the modern education that they're giving us, right? And now, once you're done with high school, if you decide to become an auto mechanic, you go to higher education for that.
time moo fa nekkut.
Ti nekkut time nit ki sooy jànga nit soo bëggee jànga métier nga mookal ko. da nga war you have to be patient. and Sénégal nag fii la ñu rawee.
non waaye Sénégal sax demut. Africa fen demut.
Kifa you understand.
Africa fen demut.
let me harama Kifa because mom you're the one that have traveled.
Yes.
Right?
I travel too, bro.
No, I mean in terms of
I
exposure.
travel more than Kifa. I go to deadly places. I see poverty more than Kifa.
Okay.
I'm not speaking my mind. I'm speaking facts. And you know why it's so hard? It's because it sound unchangeable. The family is too late. Water is so hard. Why the reality more nekane? As long as we are not ready to face this, let's forget it.
Sparklyn, you know me. Trust me, I'm a conspiracy theorist as much as you are. I believe there are certain things that are put in place to put us somewhere.
Yeah,
but I also believe, what I also believe is this, right? So, it's a process. If you want to become a mechanic, if you want to become a carpenter, if you want to become an architect, if you want to become a builder, it's a process. Now,
but that process is not being learned. It's not being taught from grade 1 to 12, bro.
You don't teach, a child cannot comprehend the concept
of... grade 1 to 12, that part, because even if you are a good architect by birth, you will lose it.
No, listen.
I am telling you, I understand it. I live in that world. So I became a musician. From one step, vocal,
You said English, math, and these other subjects are not important.
I am not saying they're not important, but what I'm saying, they cannot be important over these things that I said. And
the reason why English, math, or a language specifically, and math is actually very, very important for say a mechanic, or for say like an architect, or for say like a carpenter, is because there's a lot of complex calculations involved.
And communication.
And you have to be able to read the concepts.
No, why would you read that?
Why would you read that?
How would the Chinese man make his plane without speaking English? Feel like why?
No, listen. I'm talking about a language.
No, the language doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, because of this kind of educational system.
No, that's not what I'm
saying. We have the capability of making our flying plane. And the reason why we will never do it is because we are waiting for someone else to make it and bring it for us. Then we learn how to repair it. I am not saying we go and learn and repair the white man's plane. What I'm saying is, it's high time for Africa. You recruit need. Could never plane from scratch, motor from scratch, microphone from scratch, lab from scratch. This is what I'm calling it. And the reason why we don't have this, the reason why we don't have this is this educational system, because the first distract ñoo xamne am nañ interest bi. How am I explaining that? Am na ñoo xamne dañ am interest. Pour nekk scientist, they started from birth. I am telling you, go and research. I'm not scientist yoo xamne. They've never been to school. They're not famous. But they created or they discovered the most valuable things now, because they do it as a mission and a point of duty.
Now,
and if every one of those people goes through this educational system, we are doomed. My problem, the problem is, why would they attach this educational system to the masses? It's optional.
When you say they, who is they?
It's the government, because of you cannot be a president without going to school. That is wrong in a country whereby we're not English.
Do you know
that is telling me that everybody need to go to school, bro.
Okay, now let me just say something. I'll come to you for a minute. I apologize. I just want to make something clear too. I'm Sparklyn. Now, one of the reasons why I would want to employ, say, someone that has gone through school, or that has gone through school and gone through university, it's not necessarily because of what you've learned. One of the most important things that you're looking at, right, it's not just their certificate. It's the fact that they have dedicated the time to go through a course and finished it.
But it's a wrong course.
It's the point that I'm trying to make is, you would feel confident if someone is patient enough to go through years of education, right? It means they've dedicated time into getting something done.
That's right.
So if you employ that person in your company, you would be confident that dina dedicate time since
that is a personal interest.
Now, the point that I'm trying to make is, if we want to compete globally, if we want to and that's what we want.
We don't want that.
We cannot.
We should not come because hang on, we don't even have the capacity to be at the nominees. Yeah, how am I explaining that? Ñun fuñ nekk where we are right now, Africa fuñ nekk, we are not on any platform of competition. Ñun si fuñ nekk mooy ne, how do we recover back the minds of our people? Naka lañ mëna bilé Africa comme Europe? Naka lañ mëna bilé Africa comme China? Te lolu is not going to happen by importing goods. So su nekké na ñun prepare on the next generation to come. Africa, Gambia is the easiest country to punish. Right now, if the West want to punish us, to stop sending us lighters and match, after a few months we'll be eating raw food because we don't even know how to generate fire anymore, and we used to do it without these equipments. We are ignoring the reality, and now we're trying to be part of something.
Let me just explain something to you, right? You've made a point where you said there are certain scientists that have discovered things and they've never gone to school.
Yeah.
You're talking about exceptional people. They are exceptional people that do not need modern education. It's almost like an artist.
Answer my question.
No. Let me just say something. But what you're failing to understand is the masses. They are not all exceptional.
But now your educational system is denying the exceptional to create for us. It's denying them.
The exceptionals are created.
No, you are denying them. Because you are not giving them the liberty and the freedom.
I'll give you an example. I refuse to believe that. And the reason why I refuse to believe that, if you have a talent, right, and you do not need to go to school to actually nurture that talent and execute it, right, you can do it.
Why? Listen, the kids don't decide for themselves.
Of course they do.
No.
Once you get to a certain age, it's your choice.
No, because of, you know what? You don't want to be an island in the middle of the people. Folks, you consider it real and dobi. You know, when you go into school, you like teacher bisula lajene after when you finish what you want to be. If you said you want to be a carpenter, everybody will laugh at you. Let's just be honest. When you say you want to be a minister or mayor, everybody feel like you have ambition.
Bro.
No, how am I explaining that?
The scientists that you're talking about, they were exceptional scientists. When they said, I am going to discover the atom, people laughed at them.
Yeah.
And now, what was their reaction? Because they knew what it is that they wanted to achieve.
You know why they do it?
Why?
Because they didn't create the platform to do that. I am telling you, once if you live in America and you say that, somebody is going to sponsor your journey.
Now. Gambia, but that's not how it started. That's what you're failing to understand.
No. Let me tell you. Even before.
That's not the case, though.
Listen, European government has been sending.
Bro.
Listen.
Scientists used to be executed. Did you know this?
You will not understand.
Listen, I'm telling you something that's a fact.
Any scientist that you see that sponsors himself to embark on a journey to discover something or to create something, know that he can afford it, and know that he knows that after he achieved that thing, he will be paid.
Sparklyn, you can read upon this. What I'm giving you is a fact. There was a time in this Europe that you're giving us an example. As a scientist, whatever science that you're doing, you had to hide.
It's a different cause.
No, I'm just telling you. No. So the thing is, just hear me out, right? Yeah. We are at a point where we are starting from zero, right? It is going to be hard. But what I refuse to believe is to actually take all the blame and say this is because of this system is where all the problem is.
I personally.
No, that's your opinion, which I respect.
Yeah, I personally, because I've been in the process. I'm not an alien to this. I've been in the process, so I am saying something exactly that I know. I know what school benefit me, and for me, the way I looked at life is that okay. How am I going to be useful in this society? That is how I looked at myself. And I realized that this schooling system was brought by the slave masters when they realized that they could no longer take Africa from us and they cannot stay here. So what they do is they set up a system of a labor force, that everybody is going to be a labor force, because they will be the owner of the factories and the industries, and they will be sitting out there, and the entire country is going to turn into a labor force, because going to a school until you gain PhD If you don't have your own capital, you are still broke. You need to work for somebody to get living. And this is what they do to turn the entire continent into a labor force so that they can sit there and loot our things, and we will package it for them, put it in a container and send it to them. This is the whole system, and we can all disagree and look at it in a different form. But when you look at the real, even when you come to...
So you don't think having a labor force as a society is important?
It's very important, but not the way they set it. We should labor for ourselves, not for foreigners. And
we are laboring for ourselves.
We are not laboring for ourselves.
Who are we laboring for?
We are not laboring for ourselves.
Who are we laboring for then?
We are laboring for the West.
How?
You don't know how?
That's what I'm asking.
Oh my God.
If you're saying we're laboring for the West, you're basically saying we are working for the West.
We are working for the West.
How are we working for the West? We are not taking our money and giving it to the West. We are not paying taxes to the West. We are literally not doing anything for the West. Everything we are doing stays internally.
That's how you see it. This is bigger than that picture.
Then
it's not in the business side of view. The reason why we are working for the West is because they set it in a way whereby anything they need is easier. The reason, let me tell you one example. I once had an investor and we want to import sugar. And then we did our research, and then he told me, listen, he's a white guy. He told me, you know what, we can actually grow it here and make the sugar here, because sugar machines are so simple to make. We say, yeah, let's do it. We go, we check land, we do all our things. He went back to get the equipment. He was arrested.
Who arrested him?
He was arrested that when he ordered the equipment, he was arrested. Because when they invite him and interview him and he told them his project, Africa is not allowed to grow sugar. You are not asking yourself, with all this fertile land and how easy sugar is to make, no African country is making sugar for himself. You're not asking that. The only place that is made, the countries that are made licensed to grow sugar is the Brazilians, Indians.
So you're saying if the Gambian government wanted to invest,
they will not.
I'm just saying, you're saying if the Gambian government wanted to invest in the sugar industry,
by growing it,
here, you're saying the West will tell them no?
Unless if they fight back.
Okay, I'll come to you in a minute. Kifa, what is your take on Sparklyn's comments on the education and how there are similar problems across Africa, and it's directly connected to the education system?
Yeah, for Gambia, I think there is an improvement that we have to do. The policy is already there. The implementations are not effective. We have all the policies already. The government have it, but the implementations at the right time is not happening. I could remember my junior secondary schools. We were having metal work and woodwork. I agree at that age it's good to start introducing technical courses or technical areas because the majority of your age normally starts within that end. But if you look at the side of those subjects, we are not effective. Okay, you can have it once in a week, or you might not even have it once in a week, or it's a choice for you to choose it, not like compulsory. There are certain areas, especially skills, because I'm also a skilled person. I'm not only academia, I'm also a skilled person. I believe the education system can be reformed. And I've seen the government, during the new government, when they came, it was part of their agenda to make sure that the education system is being reformed. But reforming the education also, the technical areas, and this is why the Gambia Technical Training Institute, GTTI, was transformed into a technical university. But if you see how many people that we have with skills in this country, they are doing it at their level of understanding, and now the world is growing. It is a different story. So we can engage into the modern educations, but we can also use our own policy to solve our own problems, because policy making, it depends on countries, continents with their own challenges and their own problems. The policy we make in US or in China, it might not be introduced, it might not favor the policy that we want in the Gambia, because we also have to look at our traditions, our cultures, our belief, the type of people that we have, and also the mindsets. So developing policies also, you need to work with people when it comes to the mindset. Like danga wara defar nit ñi ba pare, then certain policies soo ko essayé di nga gis ne dina effective to society. Okay, I've been to Ghana and different countries in Africa. I've seen that they are moving. Whether they make it or not, but they are moving. We are not moving, but we are not ready as people. Those people, why they are moving one step ahead of Gambia? Because they are, let's say the masses of their people, they are already ready to go. It's very little, very few people that are not ready. So you see everybody is being very innovative. It's not about population size. I had people saying population size is a opportunity. It's not about that. We have seen Mauritius, we have seen Seychelles. Mauritius is one of the safest countries. It's one of the most developed countries in Africa, and it's very close to Madagascar. Look at the level of development that not only at economic level, but when it comes to the human resources, when it comes to also making effective change. Because I believe everyone should be an agent of change. That's what I call myself. So what are we contributing towards all these things is the issue. Okay, now, you mentioned it in one of your comments that the child should also decide, which is very right. The child should also decide that it depends on the age of the child and the maturity of the child. There are certain kids, they can become matured not by age. They can become matured even at the age of 15.
By experience.
Yes, by experience and also by, let's say, by even wisdom. Because you mentioned the exceptional people. All of you, how to call, so it happens. There are certain people, they have that creative, spiritual gifted. We have those things, those scientists that he is talking about. But if the world is changing, we might change also to move with the world, but based on our interests and what suits our environment. We can do what the West is doing, but it can also be done in our own favor of what favors our society. I totally disagree with that we have to walk away from Western education. We can do it. Rwanda is doing it, but they are also doing their own thing. But if you look at Ethiopia, they are following Western education, but they are also doing their own thing. It doesn't mean following the Western education, don't develop. But do we have the attitude to make the developments? You can be in the Western educations and you don't have the attitude to develop.
Exactly.
You can even abandon the Western education and still you do not have the attitude to make the developments.
Exactly.
Because Ghana, I'm seeing that they are doing it. If you go to Ghana, if you go to their restaurants, Ghana, I would call them, they are the Britain of Africa, to be honest, political reality. But they have never walked away from their culture. I'm talking to you as people at large, people in general, when it comes to the human nature. For us, we don't have human nature. Sorry to say this. Why I say that we are good at copying, you look at it in our artists, you look at it in the way it's not about dress code. I'm not talking about dress code. Just in the way of how we copy other people. Not only even the West.
We are not innovators.
We are not innovators. Or even if we are innovators, we don't implement.
Yeah.
Gambia, we are good at talking. Tell Gambian to you as a platform, the Gambian will like to speak like the Senegalese in their platforms. If the Gambian is singing Mbala, the Gambian will like to sing just like how Wali is singing, or they will be trying to copy them.
So we don't really have an identity.
We don't really have an identity, not out of everything. Let me tell you this. Ghana, you go to Ghana, they will start introducing you their local foods. Even in their hotels. They have banku. They have all their fufus in their hotels, in their menus. So to tell you that these people, although they have the Western taste, but they also never forget where they come from. And all of these things, Gambia is not doing it. And we have to do it as people. Blending the Western educations or the Western style, it does not affect our living. It does not affect our development. Because being in the West, they also have the good side and also have the bad side. When you look at the good side, they also have the bad side. So there are certain things we can learn from them. But there are certain things, it's not our interest for us to copy it from them because it does not favor our society. It does not favor our beliefs and our mindsets. So, okay, ma anda narbi doesn't mean na mora leka yapa. Ma anda narbi doesn't mean na mora sol chaya. Why tahud ne suma ande narbi munna laka nar? Why do tah ma sol chaya? So these are things that we have to identify and we learn from one another as a country. Also we move together as one another as a country. Partnership is part of it. We have Africa integrations. For me, that's the most important thing that I am fighting for. Africa integrations. How we can bring Africa's border chain together and work together as Africans. It's not only by traveling, people making moves, but goods making move. When I say goods making move, if you want to depend on England, you want to depend on US, why do they have the European Union, the EU? Because they want to empower their states. So how we have to empower Africa? Because I don't catch up the blame game. We have brains. We have the exceptional peoples that we are saying. Yeah. We have the Buhabas and the Walius that we are talking about. We have all that of Europe because this. Let me tell you, Africa is the cradle of mankind. Su nekkoon Yàlla daf doon bindaat aduna doomi aadama si Africa la ko bindee fa la moo juddoo. So we have everything, but what we lack is unity. That's the only thing.
I agree.
We don't unite and we don't accept who we are. We are always going for after other people. And that's our culture. Tey am na loo xam ne yow da nga koo rus a sol tey am na nu ma laa bëgg a sol loo caaya sa doo nangu am na yenn type of lekka su la nit ñi fekkee yaa ngi ko lekka cere yaa ngi ko reeree sax ñu ne dafa ñaaka to tell you that especially Gambia here sir. I heard you mention about Senegal. Yes, Senegal, even if they look like the French, but they also look like Senegalese. They have an identity.
And this is where this is where
I've seen it in Bissau too. I've seen it in Kenya. I've seen it in Tanzania.
Yeah.
You if you want to look at Africa, if you go to Kenya, you will see Africa in Kenya. If you want to see Africa, if you go to Tanzania, you see Africa. Lesotho, South Africa, I've been to this country, you see Africa in them. But if you come to Gambia, it's very difficult for you to see Africa in Gambia. Because why? We don't want to identify ourselves who we are and where we belong to. Our great-grandparents, our ancestors were doing it. We have seen it. Suñ mami, dañ ko daan def, dañ ko daan duru. But are we taking and applying what we know and what we are, who we are? We are not doing it. If Africa is not moving, I'm not saying it's not moving. Yes, but I would say Gambia is not moving. Because other countries there are making it at least 1 + 1 to another. It is happening. So in the side of the education in different, because it needs a wider conversations and a wider discussion. It depends on the content that we are talking about. Education is not bad, but what are the type of education that we need as a society to change our country? If you look at the China education policy, I love it. Why I love it? Even if you are a doctor, you are having another skills. China ñoom ñëpp ay borom métier lañ. Skills is very, very important. I accept it. That the education policy in this country, I'm not saying it's not part of their branding, but I think it has to be effective. You make sure you indiwat ko si curriculum in our schools. Yes, primary schools we know that the majority might not be there, but at least at junior level, senior secondary level, dinañ door introduce at that not vocationally. Vocationally, that one is advanced. But at school level, you'll be able to know that kii day nekk na school waaye mun naa ñëw xaftaan ak mbuba bu baax. mun naa daaj taabul ak toogu depuis bi mu nekkee school armoire sax mun na koo defal depuis bi mu nekkee grade 9. Because we have to know not all people should be at administrative level. So loolu laa feel ne that the government should emphasize more on that and make it effective. Gambia, I will tell you, in Africa, we have one of the best policies. But the problem is implementation. Any type of project that the government or our experts in this country designed and give it to UN, they grant them funds. We all know it. We are good at policy making, but we are not good at implementing. And this is not only at government level, even at society level. How many associations are being part of? At the end, if you not be careful, you are going to be the only one being the secretary, doing the secretary of the job, doing the president of the job, doing the coordinator of the job.
Everybody else's weight.
Yes. To tell you that we are not good at combination.
Agreed.
And this is our problem, even at society level.
Agreed.
Bala ñoo ñaar ñetta hay groupe buñ taxawaloon last year ñu ngi xeex wala xaalis boole na leen wala diw ne dafa busy. We don't create time for our needs. And if you don't create time for our needs, we are going to follow other people what they need from us.
Agreed.
Basically, this is what I want to emphasize and also to buttress both what you have said and also what Sparklyn have said.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree, and this is where I respectfully disagree with the point that our problems can be just solved
without even the West.
Exactly, and also our problems can be traced back to the Western education. Because, by the way, when you say Western education, the subjects like math, science, these are not really Western, by the way. Math is mostly the biggest contributors of mathematics, right? is the Arabs. Like Ibn Sina, when it comes to medication, is the Arabs. When it comes to physics, is the Arabs.
So it all comes from Africa.
It all comes from Africa.
That's why
again.
civilization begins in Africa.
All this education that we're learning, right, it's not really from the West. The West copied it.
Yes.
But as a structure,
That's
I would agree that
They copy it and modernize it.
They copy it and
modernize it.
and bring it in a way.
it's not a bad thing to have that as a tool.
But it is a bad thing if you are training the entire masses to be administrative and you cannot give them job.
But there are certain schools here. Schools like what is it? I know SOS. They have metal work. They have woodwork.
Yes.
And that is at junior school level.
Yes.
There's another school, St. Peter's.
St.
St. Peter's
too,
have
as well.
have woodwork. It has metal
Bro.
work. It has TD.
Bro,
It has
as long as they don't force them like they force them to maths and English, there will be no change, bro. Because hangali problem. You already make these kids to believe ne. Swingene school, they don't have to be dirty. That's already something in their head.
Do you know why it's important to have math and English as a course?
It is very important. No, what I'm saying, young man misunderstand it. Man luma wa mo nekane. It's very wrong to have a school where maths, English, science, SES is the main subject and is compulsory. And there is no skill that is compulsory.
Put SES aside.
Yeah.
Right? Math, English, science.
Yeah.
The reason why this has to be core,
Yeah.
because everything else, when it comes to acquiring a skill,
Yeah.
is directly connected to these subjects.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you want to learn carpentry,
Yeah.
you need math.
You need
You
math,
need
yeah.
science.
Yeah.
You cannot in a modern format of learning carpentry. Like if you want to be an expert in carpentry, you cannot just acquire carpentry skills without acquiring math and science first.
Yeah.
These are like the foundations. These are the fundamentals
I agree.
that you need.
I agree.
And this is why it's important to have this. And the reason why English, for example, is a core subject is because the materials that you're going to read on carpentry, on metalwork, on building houses, it's written in English.
Yeah.
Right? The Chinese people are not reading English because the material that you're learning carpentry from is written in Chinese.
Yeah.
And this is why Chinese is a core subject.
Okay. So what are you doing as a country to see that in the future your kids will read your book through their language? Because okay, we are not yet developed to that level. Okay, we will read English. What I'm saying here is that obviously they will not bring something totally useless to scam you with. Anything, even this scammer come with something glitter. So what I am saying is that this educational system is doing more harm than good. You can disagree because what I'm saying is,
if you say it's doing more harm than good, I want you to be clear with your point.
I said system. I don't say particular subject. I said the educational system.
I'm saying you're saying the educational system is doing more harm than good.
Good, yes.
Now what I want you to do for me
Yeah.
and for the viewers that are listening
Yeah.
is to point out
Yeah.
the harms that it's doing
Yeah.
against the good that it
The
has.
number one harm is doing is that we have thousands of kids graduate every year, and the things that they learn in school is not useful in their everyday life, and the government cannot afford to give them job, and they were not taught skills. That's number one. Number two is that the things apart from the maths, even in maths, you only need we don't need it for 12 years.
They're still mathematicians.
You cannot
they
even
have gray hair.
Listen,
and they're still learning.
Yeah, because they're going. What I'm saying is that the kind of knowledge we gain in maths from grade 1 to 12, maths, it's not worth learning for 12 years. I think it's just a delayance of time. And in that delayance, they didn't put anything. Lo hamne ni dafa neka a side hustle. In case you are not administrated, you have a skill. It's none. And now you're teaching millions of kids who are coming out to this society without knowing what to do. Because we were not taught what to do, bro. So my problem is this. Let us learn maths, English, science, no problem. But let's make sure any kids who graduated from grade 12, mu ñibisi ak skill, bo xamne is perfect, because I'm 100% sure if a kid is forced to learn a skill like he is forced to learn maths, English, and science in 12 years, dafa nekk pro si lolu. Man, that's my belief. And then if the government cannot give him a job, he will be useful in the society. But we cannot have graduates that only know how to read and write. It's not sufficient. When this world, there are people who scratch their brain to make sure this light turn on today. There are people scratch their brain to make sure this microphone work today.
How do you think that they do that?
They did that because of concern and motivation and help. But with this kind of educational system, we will never have our brothers from school to make this microphone through the influence of that school they came from or the inspiration. This is my problem. We are inspiring our people on a wrong project. We are not even inspiring them to make things that we need on a daily basis. And we're not only doing it with half, with quarter, we're doing it with everybody. And now when we graduate and have a job, now we hire the Chinese man to sell us one TV, to sell us drone, to sell us car. You understand? And if the government want to make road, they can hire a company from another country to make infrastructure for them. With all this manpower we have in Africa, that we are hiring people to make road for us, that the government is hiring people. And we are 56 years old, and we know we're going to need all these things. And every president that comes ignores it, and you want us to ignore it. And then the next generation will still be dependent. The reason why government should be blamed, because if you go to other countries, they recruit people. They recruit people in different various sectors. And if another government take over, they push that agenda. Those are the people that the state need. In case there are things we cannot access, we make them. But if you take your kids to this kind of educational, you know what they do after graduation? They just take 200, the most 200 intelligent people, and they give them scholarship, and they send them to Europe. Those people are put in a condition whereby they're not even coming back here, bro. So we have lost 200 intelligent people of a batch who are going to work for some people. And now we are left with people who were fairly passed and people who were not passed. Now the people who are fairly passed are going to work for the bank and the private sector. Now we are left with people who are not passed. Those are the people who will become teachers, doctors, and security. So now we are taught by people that are not intelligent. We are medicated by doctors that we are not intelligent. So, and we think we will progress as a country. So because those 200 people, if they're left in the Gambia, they will make a change. Imagine since Tami Jawara, all the scholarships that gone, if all those people, the plan was to go and learn and come back, there will be change. But you hardly see somebody who have scholarship and come back. So the only time they come back to work for their country is when they are about to die, when they are 60 years, 70 years. Now you want to come from Oxford University and you want to come and be the lead commission for TRRC.
My question for you would be, in regards to that, are you blaming the government for these people not coming back, or are you blaming the individual that got this benefit?
I am blaming the government for letting them to go without.
But if they stay here, we don't have the capacity to teach these people the knowledge that they need.
It was better to stay, because that would add more value. That would add more value. No, they will 200 intelligent people. They will create something.
They will not create.
No,
something.
they will.
I'm sure there's a lot of intelligent people here.
They will. Even they will be as the useless people here.
Because we don't have the capacity to teach them.
No, because we trade our capacity. The more because we are more useless people, because you are a teacher. ñooñu lañ dee may tubaab bi in the name of scholarship léegi ñu passut exam ñun ñu des fee ñooñu ñooy nekk suñ ministre suñ président suñ mayor understand nga léegi dañoo am problème yi office bi lu mu war a mel dañoo am problème yi how fast this project is going, because people are gifted. The people with good IQ have been taken, and these things are done for a reason. They're not doing this to help. Any country in the world, boo xam ne at bu nekk génne nga fa 100 nit ñu intelligent, you are robbing the future of that country.
I mean, okay, now if you saying you're removing them,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're saying there's a motive, there's an agenda.
It's an
behind
agenda. It's not
But
just by help.
You're just making statements.
I'm not making statement, bro. It's facts, because if it was not facts, you will see at least every year 100 with them. No matter how disloyal they are, you will see 50 or 20 who want to come and work for their country.
But that's a choice that they are making.
That is a choice.
Those countries, they're not holding them against their will.
Yes, they are holding them. No, they are holding them.
How?
Not physically, financially. You know, people can threaten you in a different form. Because
how are they holding them financially?
Because you were taught to be a labor force. You can only work for people. If you come to Gambia, like you said, you are already thinking, what are they going to do?
But how comes other countries are doing better than us?
Because
and we're not. And you claim that over Africa
no country is doing better in Africa, because development is not cement and concrete, and that's where you people are getting it wrong. It's not how clean is the city. It's not how many buildings is in the city.
What does it mean to be developed?
The development is how is the city moving itself.
And that's the point where we're making. Like he was saying, the three things that you look at for a country that's developing, it's food security, shelter, and clothing.
Bro, if you go to all this food security you are saying, any country you think is developed because of food and shelter security,
let's take Rwanda
the 90% of the equipment you call is imported. That's what I'm telling you.
That's not true.
It is. Rwanda just started.
When it comes
now they're making. But trust me, if you go to Rwanda, I've been there. The things that will amaze you,
It started. It's somewhere in the late 90s.
You know what is nice about Rwanda? Do you know what? People think it's the building.
I'm not talking. No.
Yeah, the reason why people say Rwanda is going is the law. If you go to Rwanda, you are not there to smoke and throw it.
It's the law and the mindset of the people.
The mindset and the police, because the police are also everywhere.
But this is contradicting what you're saying. That African countries are not moving.
No, these people did it. These people just started. These people are baby. They just starting it. Paul Kagame coming to power. He have the same mind that I have. If I became a president today, in the next 5 years, you will see the same thing. That's what I'm saying. We need leaders like him. Leaders who understand that you need to make your people.
So the problem is leadership. It's not necessarily
no, it's leadership, because
now you're being clear.
Yeah,
this is what I wanted you to come to.
No, because parental. So they blame parental because they are the head of the family. So now
part of leadership.
Yes, we have head of the country. We're not talking about family now. We have head of the country, and the head of the country is not protecting his children to become intelligent, strong, healthy. Understand? And then we cannot divide the blame out of him then now, because if you have a government that allow every kid to have a smartphone in a poor country like Gambia, and there is no code for sex. You just go to Google, you type porn, is there. Is that a serious government that want to protect the kids?
How would you protect the kid with that regard?
Porn should not be accessible anyhow.
Basically,
because sex is one of the...
There's always walkarounds when it comes to
but it should... That's the part, like... If I go at the corner, that's myself. But the government should have a general message and a general protection. If you go beyond that, that's you. It's very simple to apply that. That if you want to look porn, they ask for your credit card or your age. Because in other Arab countries you go, you cannot watch porn. Even me as an elder, I cannot watch porn. I need to pay to watch it. So how many kids have credit cards? They don't have credit cards. So if you do that, you are automatically protecting the kid that you allow to have a phone in school from going beyond. You go to national TVs. They play programs that are not fit for society. They play music videos, they play movies that definitely is not good for the society. For me, anything that is national, you know, you have to consider the masses, not just the parents has responsibility. No, you have to.
But everything starts at home.
No, but there are things that are beyond home, because the kid that is having phone, the parent will protect her.
As a mother or a father, right?
Yeah.
You should not give your child a smartphone. It has to be age. You have to be you have to consider the age that you're giving your child a smartphone. Look, what the government can do, it's very limited.
Protect them. No, look, but that what you are saying has nothing to do with
No, what I'm saying again is this. It comes back to taking responsibility on an individual level. You can't blame the government for certain things by 100%.
Yeah.
I do not disagree with that.
Yeah.
But where I guess me and you we're seeing things a little bit differently is, I'm coming back to society, and I'm going back to the house, right? Because everything starts from there. The government people that you're talking about, or the president, came from a home, right? So if you have a president that is not doing their job well, you have to look back at the house. And if you're trying to get a new president to replace the current president, that person has to come from a good home. So everything again goes back to the house. If you're having a child and you're giving that child a smartphone and you're not monitoring that child what they're looking at, and you're not paying attention to the things that they're engaging in, it's your fault. The government cannot really do anything about it.
It's true, but what I'm trying to tell you is that parents, if somehow there are 90% of them who don't even give their kids phone.
That's a lot. When you say 90%,
let's say no. Even if they don't give their kids phone, as long as phone is open, they can always watch it somewhere, somehow. The government need to put a basic law, and if you or your family go under that.
Do you think we have enough resources to put in to invest that amount? Do you know what it takes to the infrastructure you need to build to basically filter out pornography?
Involved.
It's expensive.
No, I'm not saying filter.
I mean that's how you if you want to block porn
you don't have to block it.
What do you do?
You just have to make it payable. And the Gambia, if you
can't make it payable when it's free online. When you go to Google right now, there are certain porn sites where you have to pay. But if you go to Google right now and you search for a porn website, most of them is free.
Bro. If we go out here, the riot be tang on fi Facebook. Why would they put so much energy to close TikTok or Facebook because of a political interest, and they cannot close it because of a futural interest? So the social media is doing worse. Within 24 hours you will see it down. And for me, as long as it has something to do with the future, I don't care. It has to be protected.
What if you don't have the resources to
They have the resources. Because if they can have resources, it's just a platform. If Yajame can have resources at the time.
Do you know how many porn platforms there are?
I am not saying how much. What I'm saying is, I have been to countries whereby if I want to watch porn, I cannot. So Sunekene is going to cost them billions. You think it's not important to save our young girls? Because most of these girls are sexually excited before reaching to the age. They're even in a hurry to try. When I was a kid, it wasn't like that because I hardly see it. So if these kids are not helped, because they are at a point whereby they cannot reason like me. So if these kids are not helped, just because it's expensive or because it's complicated, we will have a worse future. Then let's ready to get robbed and accommodate a lot of bastards.
This is okay. My take on something like this with the current state of our country, given the amount of resources we have, taking that large sums of money, putting it into filtering out pornographic sites, it's not viable. It's not sustainable.
It is.
Let me explain. Because we have more pressing issues than filtering out pornography.
But your government has been putting millions
Let me just explain.
Okay.
The point that I'm trying to make is we're having housing crisis, we're having health crisis, we're having education crisis, we're having a drug crisis. We have all of these crises, right, that needs to be addressed. And it needs resources, right? When it comes to porn, it's easy to fix.
That is because your government did not care about all these things you name. You know why?
I did not say they don't.
No, they don't. Because there's a problem of blood bank. How do I explain
I agree with you.
They don't. Because how much money do they use to build the OIC? In a serious country, me, I'm a president. You give me that amount of money to build an entire a mayor house for 2 days. Me, you will take your money back. Because I cannot ignore the problems that you are saying and be building an empty house when we can just walk to a hotel and do our meeting for 2 days. Sometimes it's the leaders that need to have sense, bro. Because these people that are coming, they have agenda, they have plan, and they are not going to change it for you. So you, if you don't have vision, or if you don't have sense, They will just come and work their interest on top of you. And this has been happening to Africa all over these years. Because the people we are expecting to get help from, they are not helping us. They're giving us that in exchange of something. And the most worst problem is, if you go to the World Bank, if Gambia government goes to the World Bank now and asks for the same money they loan them for the infrastructure to put it in the farming system, they will not be loaned. If they ask for it to put it in the medical system, they will not be loaned.
Why?
Because that is the strategy. They're not going to loan you for food, drink, or health, or shelter, but they can loan you for infrastructure. They can loan you billions to build one stadium. They can loan you billions to build one house for conference or whatsoever. This is...
Are you speaking this based on your opinion, or are you speaking this based on facts?
This is facts, because you can see it. Why are we lacking blood back when government can borrow money and build thousands of hospitals in 1 minute, like they are borrowing money to order vehicles for their officials? What is stopping them from doing that? Last time you just heard that they have given, is it 60 million or 600 million to Jar Oil to invest it within a 6 months period because of the money was there. So they have access to borrow money, but they will never borrow them for this purpose. And if Africa don't realize this and start waking up and start having our own doctors, because there will be a day all our natural resources will be expired. It will turn to dust. It will not be valid anymore, because the West know that we can only threaten them with natural resources. Now they have start making genetically made diamonds in the lab, which is making the same effects. Now they have start making electric cars. And in Africa, we cannot even refine our oil. So in the next 25 years, the West is not going to need our diamond, gold, oil, neither uranium or whatsoever.
Actually, with the oil refinery, we actually can now. Nigeria has just built a refinery plant.
Congrats.
That's what I'm saying.
Congrats, but it's too slow. It's too, since how many years?
It's something. Look.
It's something, and that's why I said congrats. That's why I said.
It has to start somewhere.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, if they don't realize that now, in the next 25 years, a bag of diamond will cost $20. Ton of gold will cost $100. Because the only thing we can use and threaten the world now, or brag of, is diamond, gold, and oil. And the only thing diamond is useful in Africa and gold is jewelry. When the world is making some sensitive, expensive machines with this. But we still don't know even what to use these resources for. If the world never come up with refining to use this gas, it will be on the ground forever. And this is my problem. We are old people, we have brain, we can do it. And if a generation does not start this, but we still want to lean on the going wall, fine, we can do it, but let us also accept our position as the red carpet, that everybody will work on us. That is the truth. Because if you see South Africans killing Nigerians, say they want them to go back home, that is a clear information that there will be a time everyone will go back to where you born, because the world is going racist.
You think the world is more racist than it used to be?
No, it was more racist, but it's going back to where it come from. They fight to liberate religion, but in a few years to come, religion will be illegal again. It was illegal in the beginning. So we are going back to, because the people that they were fighting against did not relax. They go back, reschedule themselves, and they're on us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so from my experience of just analyzing things when it comes to development and like certain things, I do usually now want to retain from being a conspiracy theorist and actually looking at facts and data, because if I sit down and start analyzing things, I might just come to conclusions that are completely skewed. Like it's not really the fact. Trending. It's just based on how I feel.
No, but anything I said here is not conspiracy.
No, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah,
here.
But what I'm saying here is facts that you can see. Tell me why they cannot have money to empower the farming when they have money.
But that's not true though. That is not true.
How?
Not too long ago,
Yeah.
the Minister of Agriculture, I believe they got a $10 million funding, right?
Bro, that's not funding.
Not $10 million. I'm talking about
even
$10
it's
million.
dollar, it's not funding.
Look,
It's not funding.
when
we say funding, funje jele halis for.
Bro, $10 million to put into agriculture in a country as small as this, that's a lot.
Bro,
You cannot say that's not funding.
Small. It's very small.
Not
Because
small.
if you can give more than $1 billion per yenen projects, you are only giving 10 million. That cannot do nothing in the farming sector. If you go and buy 15 tractors for that, it's finished. You cannot even have 15 tractors.
How much does a tractor cost?
I cannot tell you now, but you cannot, with $10 million, if you go and buy 15 tractors, your balance is not going to be too much. We are talking about
Then how much does a tractor cost? That's what I'm asking you.
I am not telling you, because I don't know now.
But see, this is the point that I'm trying to
I'm
make.
telling you, $10 million do halis.
$10 million is
Billahi do halis when it comes to country issue, national issue.
Bro,
so they make $10 million, so go you be fee new mirek. Bena segment.
But if you're talking about, if you're saying, okay, they're not giving us funding for agriculture, but now we have $10 million, and now you're saying that's not.
That is because.
But that's something. That's
that is because they don't want you to realize what I'm telling you. Because if they just give you 10 million, then you will contradict it. You will say, no, but they give us 10 million. But they know that, giving what is more worthy, you have more money for infrastructure and you give less money for food. Does that make sense to you?
Sparklyn.
No, harare deglu rek. Bala nga dos yon bi da nga food for country, farming. Naka nga joxe pour ñu defar tali ñaata millions of dollars. Yow nga ma ne 10 million for farming. That is a one-man project farming, bro. That is one-man project.
Bala nga now, da nga do.
Loolu laa la wax léegi.
Understand nga?
Déedéet. Fuñ tollu in this time, fuñ tollu. Man, government bu ma lebal 10 million pour farming dama la ko delloo. Because dafa am interest ndax du be pere 10 million bobu is not going to execute the plan. So why take it? Or you just want to take 10 million and help one group of people? We are talking about
if you take $10 million,
yeah,
$10 million,
yeah,
we're talking about dollars here. We're not talking about dollars.
Not like pounds. Wow.
$10 million, and you put it into the agricultural sector, right? Lowly is over $1 billion.
Bro,
you might not see it as money.
It's not going to change anything.
It is going to make a change.
No, will not change few people's life.
That is something.
That is not something compared to what they give to other things. Hanga sunekone
Like what?
Boy, go and research how many money they give for infrastructure.
Which infrastructure?
OIC. I'm not telling you come lu nekk di xew lu ma la nekk di wax ni. Go and make your research. Why are they not giving money for farming, medication, and health?
They are.
They are not. But don't tell me $10 million, bro. Lolo Kena need more Amesinegam. $10 million, even an individual can donate that to a government. We are talking about loans, where we go and take loans. When government is taking loans, they don't take $10 million. When we say loans, we say loans. So if you are Gambia, how many million ka sohla? Te so de med nañ la ko jox. Legi su dee yow da nga bëgg defar farm across the country, it doesn't matter su dee dafa jël $50 million as long as yow soxla nga loan bi tey nga ne guarantee nga ne di nga ko fay.
Do you know why it's easier? It's easier to give loans for when it comes to road. Do you know why it's easier for, say, countries or organizations to give countries loans to build their roads?
How?
Because it's easy to repay back. You know how you repay that? You pay that through road tax.
You want to tell me that farming cannot repay road?
Bro,
farming make more money than roads, bro.
That is not true.
It's true.
That is not
that
true.
That is true.
How much GRA is collecting when it comes to road tax? You cannot compare that to farming currently.
Wait. Government collect roads tax from. Wait, let me tell you. They are not collecting road. Wait.
What you need to consider is this.
Wait, what I'm saying, you know, Akmal Lumawa is different. Okay, let us put two things. Bugena important. Malumalawa moine. Let's go for the most important. Because you cannot tell me. You see farming, you see road. Nga buy farming, nga dem defa road.
But it's this is not you cannot compare the two because
no, you can compare
they serve different functions.
No, look at the problem of your country.
If you're building,
the function road serve.
Listen, just hear me out. If you invest in agriculture, if say you're going to large scale investment in agriculture, your agriculture is almost useless if you don't have infrastructure to transport it.
Government does not need that.
Why? Of course they do. What do you mean they don't? I mean, if you're having a farm in the bush,
bro, government
you need the road,
government,
a transport system, right, to distribute these things.
That is the last thing. You need the listen. We have before that money come. You navigate. We are moving. We just wanted to make it a little bit more comfort. It wasn't a priority over farming. So it's come in a situation whereby we are living in a jungle. Then muna make a priority pour you clear yon bi pour muna gain them the farm. It wasn't like that. We were having roads, maybe yes, not right roads, not comfort roads, yes, but we were having roads. We were moving. So the thing is, they will not give them money. They will not.
You're conflating a few things.
No,
right? Infrastructure is very important. The reason
it is very important.
Just hear me out. The reason why the British, they saw Gambia as a very important place for them to colonize is because of the infrastructure Gambia naturally had, because of the river. And this is why the groundnut business was a very, very, very profitable business for them, right? They didn't need to build extra infrastructure. They could just use the river and have farms around the river and then build depots around. If you're going to invest into farming, you need infrastructure. It doesn't matter what kind of agriculture you're getting into. Now, the point that I'm trying to make to you is this. You cannot how to call it? You cannot put the horse in the cart in front of the horse.
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. You're not connected with it. It wasn't like that because
every large scale. Let me just listen. Every large scale farming that you see around the world, there's always infrastructure around it, right? It's either through railway system, through a river, or through road. They build the infrastructure before they get into farming. If you're talking about China that imports large amounts of rice, in their rice fields, there's always a railway passing around there.
And India as well.
And India as well. Yes. And the point that I'm trying to make is, right, you cannot say this is more important than this.
No,
it's like they need each other.
It is. If it is, in this situation where we are,
we don't.
We need food more than road at the time because we were moving. But I'm not saying, what I'm saying is let them revive the farming. This kind of transport you're saying, I can go in level bow because it's a tiny small country. We can definitely move. The point I'm trying to make is this. By leaning on the Western, we will not make it because they did not have a genuine intention for Africa. Anything that you think we can do and take Africa to the next stage, they are not going to support that. That I want people to understand. And
how
that is facts. We have seen it.
How so?
We have seen. That's facts. We have seen.
How so? I want you to give me specifics, not just statements. Like the reason why I want this because first of all, this platform, the Daily Dose platform, is to inform, and not just inform, but inform by backing it with data.
Yeah, but I'm backing it with data because now I am asking you. I am asking you that why, if government have the capability to borrow money and make things, why our hospitals are still like this, number one. Why our farming system is still like this. Why our schooling system are like this. If they have the capability to borrow.
Now look at this like this, right? Look at the government as an individual and look at the person borrowing as a bank. Because the people that are borrowing the Gambian government money, it's not a gift. No. There's a timeline in which the Gambian government needs to pay it back, right? You cannot go to a bank because simply you can borrow money and tell them I need this amount of money and be like, okay, I'm going to give it to you. No, they're going to look at how you are going to pay this back.
Oh, yeah.
And if you cannot prove that you're going to pay it back, they will not give you the money.
Bro, we can prove it. When it's come to farming, we can prove it. When it's
There's no proof.
There is proof because farming brings money. We all know that.
This is just a theory.
No.
In practice, the Gambia.
No, it's not theory. You are producing something that is sellable. So it's not theory. When it's come to
when it comes to producing agriculture, you need to put this into consideration.
Yeah.
Agriculture, they are spoilable products.
Yeah.
What I mean by spoilable products is you need infrastructure.
Yeah.
If you're doing rice, right, you need storage facilities.
Yeah.
You need processing facilities.
Yeah.
You need infrastructure to transport.
That is why you take loan. That is why you take loan, because when you are going to farming, anything that farming needs, you put it. So these roads are not going to be built because we want to work there. They are built because we are on a farming project. We are not going to say, oh, it's farming. No, anything that requires in that project will be built. If it is road, if it is water, if it is railway, that is the project.
And the point that I'm trying to tell you is this, right? Gambia being a country that imports food.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot just go to anyone and be like, give us this X amount of money.
Yeah.
We want to put it into our agriculture. Yeah. One, you do not have a proof of concept.
Yeah.
That what this money you're going to borrow and put into farming, you can pay it back. Because one, our agricultural system.
How do you have a proof when you're putting it on infrastructures?
Because infrastructure like roads.
Cars go and they pay tax.
The infrastructure like roads.
Yeah.
There's a proof of concept that you'll be able to pay the money back based on how much tax you're collecting from roads.
Yeah.
And the money they are going to give you as a country to build your infrastructure is going to be directly related to how much tax you're collecting on the road.
So
they're not going to give you infinite amounts of money.
No, no one does that.
And that's the point that I'm trying to tell you.
No, but what the point I don't want to agree is that you cannot make the money through farming. That's false.
I'm not saying you cannot make the money through farming.
No, that's what you want to tell me. Because if the passing borrowing,
listen,
if the passing borrowing doesn't want to believe that I can make the funds from farming.
Let me make it clear.
Yeah.
Let me make it clear to you. Yeah. I'm not saying I do not believe that they cannot make it through farming, right?
Yeah.
You can go to the bank and tell them, give me this amount of money.
Yeah.
I want to put it into a business that I believe is going to make money.
Yeah.
But the bank is not interested in your belief.
Yeah.
The bank is interested in your proof of concept.
Yeah.
That if you borrow this money, right?
Yeah.
You can actually pay it back.
Yeah.
And the proof of concept is not based on what you say, it's based on the evidence that you
wrong.
provide.
That's wrong. Because the reason why banks does not have the right to do that is because then why are they taking collateral?
And that's the point.
No, yes, you are taking collateral because of that should be your main focus, that if this guy does not bring my money back, this collateral will cover my money. So the reason why they're trying to investigate you in this matter is because they want to deny you. But they are not denying you because they don't believe that you cannot pay the money when you have a collateral that oversees the money they are giving you. Boy, that doesn't make sense.
And the collateral that they're taking from you, they're going to calculate the value of it.
Yeah.
And that value of the collateral you're given is going to determine how much they're going to give you.
Exactly.
And the point that I'm trying to make you, I'm going to make is this. If Gambia wanted to take, say, $1 billion worth of loan to invest into farming, what collateral can Gambia provide if they cannot pay the money back?
You think they don't have collateral?
Like, give me an example of what do you think Gambia can put as collateral?
Listen, there is so many things in the Gambia.
Like what?
That the banks need, that they can put for collateral.
Like what?
That the West need. You think some of these countries, what do they put it? Because, listen.
You know in the Gambian, how Gambia is, would you be comfortable for, say, the Gambian government to put our river as collateral to get funds to put into farming? What if we cannot pay that back? Do you think the way the Gambia is structured currently, if we take that amount of loan and take the river and put it as a collateral, you'd be comfortable with that? I will not be comfortable with that.
Well, if definitely we're going to achieve it, I will be comfortable.
But you don't have there's no proof of concept that we'll achieve it.
That is not the problem. The problem is, are we committed to what we are asking for?
We are not. That's the point that I'm trying to make to you.
No, we will be. When the time comes, we will be.
Let me get Kifa our back and forth on this. And I think, one, it's important to be realistic, right? It's important to go about things objectively. It's like cut your clothes according to your size, right? When it comes to agriculture in Gambia, like I was telling you, $10 million is a lot of money, right? For a start. Gambia is a what, 2-point-something million population. If you're talking about self-sufficiency, I'm not saying $10 million is enough to...
But for a good start.
It's more than enough for a start. If we're talking about starting to solve issues, we need to take baby steps. And this is not a baby step, this is an adult step, right? And he might not see it as a lot of money. Maybe it's not a lot of money in the global scale. But in the context of Gambia, as tiny as we are, that's a lot of money to put into agriculture. If we are really committed. Now, if you want to take a huge amount of loan, from government or an organization outside, but the $10 million you're given, you cannot even manage that properly. You think someone is going to give you $1 billion? If you cannot manage $100, why would I give you $1,000? So the point that I'm trying to make is this, right? We do have to be realistic, and the small funding that we have to manage it. And this is where good leadership comes in place. The difference between, say, Dubai and Nigeria is leadership. Dubai does not have more resources than Nigeria. And in the contrary, Nigeria has more resources than Dubai. Right. Nigeria has better soil. Nigeria has more oil. Nigeria has water. Nigeria has a suitable climate. But the difference is the leadership.
Leadership, yeah.
And this is the problem with Africa. And the point is not because we don't have access to funding. It's because the people that are given the funding, they're not comfortable giving us that funding. What's your comment on the...
Yes, for basically, I always, as you said, I always want to speak, especially when the readers are or the viewers are watching. Sometimes I don't want to go beyond my expertise area. If I don't speak based on my academic background, I always speak based on travel experience. For Gambia, both of you are speaking sense, but we all have difference. But I don't want us to blame the West for our failure, period. And secondly, I will not to back and front with anyone, but the idea is we do not have attitudinal problem. Because if we are talking about all these things, looking at the other African countries, you look at the shape of what they're doing and what we're doing, it's totally different. I always say to people that fi pahla, jamu dingoleti, in the sense that it's not the central government as a tool to navigate or to manage our resources. Nay, it's not about that. It's about we as people. How are we manageable when it comes to our daily activities, when it comes to our community, when it comes to our community levels? How many community development projects do we have as local people to manage our communities? It's many. We do not. Talk less of the central government. You and I as people, like you have in your Irish studio, supposed to come in, bring my knowledge, for us to bring our partnership, for me to bring my resources or my human resources, for you to bring your money. We push together as a team, as Gambia, we achieve together. No, but we always like to bring different sets. Or nakalay profit o sakaw, or nakalala tardele. So what outsiders have, even if we do not have exactly, but we have similar resources or similar human resources to make it. We have all the knowledge. I heard from your conversation, because I'm more good at before I talk, I'm more good of listening and research. Because you mentioned about the education, he mentioned about the educations, and that what I understand that before we can innovate, we must study and research. I totally agree with you on that. We cannot innovate without study and research, unless it becomes a natural gift. And how many people are having that natural gift? It's very limited, exceptional people. So we must transform ourselves into that modern life in order to make sure that the development that we are looking for, we will have a rapid change or a rapid development. So those people have been given scholarships and those people have been given educations. It's left to them for them to decide that they have a patriotic mindset to come back and develop this country. Because the government have given them priority, they have given them the opportunity that they deserve as Gambian, for them to go and read, for them to go and research, for them to go and study, whatsoever, but for them to go and also for them to come back. Because nobody, if you have been given a taxpayer's money or these opportunities come from the West based on our agreement within the EU level, within the EU system, fine. It's part of the benefits or the programming of what the world is definitely trying to promote through the UN system. Gambia is part of that cake, that international cake that we have to benefit from. But if you are given the share part of the cake, for you to come back and give back to your society, we are not doing that. We lack of patriotism, let me tell you, in this country. I'm not speaking directly for the government. As I said earlier, I've not been paid, I've not having government salary, but I'm telling us our problem starts at society level. How many people go to work, not at even government level, you go to your own work, Before you say 2 o'clock, you said mangi nyibi. Just to tell you how people get relaxed in certain things that they do. I could remember my travel to Ghana. I was studying in Ghana at the VVU, Valley View University in Doliwa. I met one guy, the guy is a nurse. And the same time, he's a taxi driver. And the same time, he's having a pharmacy. And the same time, he's supporting his wife at their restaurant. So in the taxi, immediately I speak, he asks me, you are not a Ghanaian. I say, why? It's because of your tongue. Are you from Kenya or Tanzania or where? I say, from Gambia. He said, what are you doing here? I say, I came for education. I also asked him, what are you doing in Ghana? What is your contribution to this country or your contribution to yourself? Because I know that he's freely asking me questions. So he gave me the will to make sure to communicate freely. He told me that I am a nurse. I just off from work around 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, and I said, you are a nurse, but you are having taxi driver. He said, yes, because of what I'm doing for living is not enough. Because of the population size is bigger than my earning. Looking at the economic status, like the GDP is bigger than what we eat. Like what we eat is bigger than the GDP because of Ghana is growing. So I need to do 1 or 2 or 3 jobs for me to be able to feed my family and also to do other businesses. But and you look at Gambia, for them, okay, they are trying to do this not only to eat. For us, we are working to eat. We are not working to not only to eat, but to order for the future plans, for the future generations. ñu lañu xam rek mooy dem nañ liggéey am nañ sara li lekk nañ ko. Lan lañ ci am loo xam ne dinañ ci jël dimbale ñi suñ doom yi nu mu tuuti laa wax lan lañ ci am loo xam ne dinañ jël pour ne lii dañ koo def pour society for those that are those nit ñi nga xam ne mënaluñ seen boppa dara. Because there are certain people that if la na ñii suñ leen dimbalewu duñ dem. This is the story of the world. So from there he told me that when I close from the hospital, I go to my pharmacy. Whilst I'm leaving the clinic, I'll be driving whilst I'm making money. If he reaches at the pharmacy, he will be there till 10, 11 o'clock, and he will leave the staff there and then report to the, to the wife's restaurant. He will be helping the wife to make banku, fufu, and others till 4 a.m. Then he will sleep at the restaurant. I say, you don't sleep at home? He said, no. I sleep from Monday to Wednesday. I sleep from either from the pharmacy or at the restaurant. I only go to home during weekends, and that is on Saturday. So he said on Sunday also he will go to church. Immediately after church, he has no rest day. Immediately after church, then he will report to the pharmacy, then also to the restaurant. So to see other countries how they engage when it comes to at community level, and the time that they spend when it comes to developing their future or self-help, to develop their let's say their family or to help themselves, is totally different from Gambia. Here the energy is very low. I'm telling you, at society level, the energy is very, very low. So for me, I don't blame the West. Man sàcc su duggee suma kër ndax man dinaa blame suma dëkkandoor ne waroon na maa yuuxul sàccee déedéet xanaa mënumaa defar bunti kër xanaa mënumaa wax ne sàcc bi su waree jaar fii parenté bi dama ko war a tëj bala maa tëdda. So for us, even if they are talking about the West, they do this, they do that. We have brains like the West. We have ideas like the West. We also have even beautiful universities like the West.
Yeah.
If you go to Ghana now, South Africa, Rwanda, they have one of the best universities in Africa. And Egypt, including Morocco.
Just go to Senegal.
Yes,
I mean,
Senegal.
Exactly.
There are certain things that you need to know. Even in Europe, you cannot have it. You must come to Africa to have it. Even knowledge. This is why you have them coming here for research purpose. For us also, we are doing our research purpose. But what is important is, are we collectively implementing this education that we are calling education? That's the most important thing. Langa janga. Because if you want to wait for people to impose help on you or to give you funding, think for yaga. People like me, I'm not waiting for anybody to fund me. I'm not going behind anybody to fund me on my projects. What I did is, I tried to get skills and to use my skills with the little paid and to invest in my innovations. That's the only thing. And all of it, they were goto. So, and let's change as people, as a nation, and as Africa. We believe in ourselves. We stop talking about the West. I had many revolutionary, many artists talking about the West. I do not disagree with their opinion, but I believe the problem doesn't lie from the West. Because Ghana do not depend on the West in many areas. Because they are eating their own foods. Let me tell you, the way we eat supermarket foods in the Gambia here, Ghana don't eat supermarket foods in their country. Yeah. Like the way they promote their fufu, the way they promote their banku, even in other countries, the way they eat their local foods, they are not eating the foods of the West.
I mean, we don't even have to go far.
Even if they have to eat it, it's very little.
We don't even have to go that far. Just look at Senegal.
Senegal
Dakar right
very
now,
close
they're
to us.
manufacturing, they send butter, you can manufacture, diwlin, you can
They are
manufacture,
doing all,
chocolate, you can manufacture,
it is
Nescafe, you can
homemade.
manufacture. It is homemade.
And even the gowns, they are haftans.
It's homemade.
It's homemade.
And I think the only reason sometimes why we compare ourselves to Senegal is because we are neighbors to them.
We are
Senegal,
neighbors.
Senegal, East Africa, do not work.
No.
Do not nyap guys.
No.
It's because they're just right next door, and this is why we can just make certain statements.
I had
with
many
regards to
people
Senegal.
saying that the French developed Senegal. I even disagree with that.
It's
Senegalese did. For me,
Senegalese worked.
I stayed in Senegal for more than 3 years. Génnuma dëkk bi.
Yeah.
Senegal, the entire amut region bi ma demul Senegal, Touba rek laa demul. But if you look at Senegalese, how innovative
And
they
the
are.
mindset.
And the mindset that they even use their seen wax yu bari yëpp liggéey la. Even in Gambia here, look at the Senegalese. They will be at the market, Serekunda marché, di jaay yàppa, di jaay jën.
dañoo liggéey.
And when they close at night, meet them at the Serekunda Johnson there. They will be discussing about Balage Yakini whilst they are dañoo suñu xamee ne mbootaay bi nit ñi dañ fa dee campé guddi dañ dee bare tem ñu indi seen café Touba di ko fa jaayaale tem ñu oo seen jabar ma ne day defar reer gars yi bàyyi faale fa la ñuy dajee. Then we have this problem and we are not doing it. Sometimes man nit ñi dañ ma dalante yow da nga war di nelaw yow di nga am problème moo tax doo dee am yaram because suñu eewoo dañ ma dee gis maa ngi suma laptop bi wala ñu ma fekk maa ngi liggéey yow kenn 12 métier yow kenn da ngaa dem géej yow kenn da ngaa liggéey lii yow kenn da ngaa liggéey lii because maa ngi génna maa ngi gis ne aduna bi dañ toll foo xam ne kenn nit boo munee benn mbir yaa ngi ci problème bu mag. It's only Gambia I've seen people having one skills.
Yeah.
If you want to depend that, I'm not promoting this government. I am not saying anything that favors this government. I am always there for the people. I am the people's choice. But the issue is we should not wait for government. The central tool that navigates or manages our resources, we should not wait for them.
Agreed.
Any country that wants to develop and you say you will wait for them for this, you will late.
Agreed.
At community level, ñun an association suñ fa am lan la ñoo def sax ñun ban contribution la ñoo def at community level pour make sure ne ñun ak VDC bi la ci di village development committee o ñun ak alkali bi di nga gis ku dëkk ful gox sax xamul alkali bi kan la. So ñun naka la ñoo liggéeyee ñun ñu nekk at community level pour jàppalante pour gis na kii mu ngi si innovation bi ñun community bi ñu ngi am association lii de association bi ñu ngi ko tuddee bokka loxo nañ ko dajaleel ami day dafa door benn bitik waaye amut lu moo straightené wala amut machine boo xam ne bugga nañ fa góor boo xam ne dafa code. We don't have that. lu ñu ooyee self-help projects at community level other countries are doing it. I've seen it in Senegal, I've seen it in Ghana, South Africa, Lesotho. These people, they have their own development projects at community level and they don't wait for government to do that for them. Dama laa woon rek waxuma ne government should not be doing this. But for us as community, what do we achieve? Lan lañ achieve lan amu dara. Si ñu demee si kaw bi sa moo dee tane.
Agreed.
Waaye fii si town bi fii. To be honest, bro, let's be very honest.
We are fighting each other.
We are fighting each other. People are not committed. Xam nga lu ñoo hay saa moom mu ngi si lii moom xamuñ kañ laa dem saa moom mu ngi si lii xamuñ kañ la ko méeg saa de karab dugga na fii si dëkk bi si town bi fii moo tax soo bàyyi xel soo demee si government kilifa yi fa nekk ñëpp ñu si ëppa yëpp provinces lañ jógee.
That's true.
Provinces lañ jógee bro.
That is
so
true.
demee si bigger heads si fii.
That is true.
Because not everybody working in the departments they are not working. To be honest, there are certain people their expertise is making resources, is bringing out any impact, is creating impact in the society. Man, okay, I've not been receiving funding. I've never get loaned. I've never get grant, and every year minimum. I will use my personal resources. So people knows it. And man, I am not rich. If I show you my bank account, but man, make change. How many halala they approach within these 2-3 weeks? Let's say during the Ramadan. If you check in the media, how many people are trying to save or to make sure to reach at community level? I'm got time there. And some of these kids, when I talk to them, they listen to me. Their parents will talk to them. Government dina wax ñom duñ leen déglu. But man na ma juk ma wax ñom ñu def ko. Ñeneen man suma boppa dama leen dé forcer dañu dem def métier té dañ ko def. So ma ngay make change. Ñeneen ma leena fayal tay graphic designer la ñeneen ñu ngi ci Siman Union bi dem nañ ba jëna seen land. So it's not about you being rich to make the changes. No, it's you being active. But you fo commit sa boppa li because li gis nga voluntarism is good. Ya ngay def lo xamné jëlewulo ci xaaliss du ñepp ko mundé. So ñun kenn ku nekk da nga seet ko tane nga dimbale ko. Man suma fiile man maa tane gandoo ci boor bii muy ci waaru xalaat xaaral ma xelal ko man suma fiile ne kii dafa weak emotionally mentally dafa weak dimbale ko doomi aadama dafa soxla pour mu dimbale doomi aadama if I know I'm more financially strong than you ma gis na yow de yaa ngi liggéey butéel waaye de ci biir rek a des ma jàppale la si pour ma mutali la comme dama la ne ñun Gambia we are not good at supporting one another. We have to change all the countries that they are. If you ask the Senegalese will tell you je suis Senegalese man Sénégalais la musuma dégg Sénégalais bu naan pul waaw pul bi tam soo ko yore la ne hey man Guinéen la the same applies to Bissau soo demee foofu the same thing but Gambia fii da ngaa dégg man doomi olof pire laa dóor seen dënn bi kii ne la man doomi soose laa kii ne la man doomi Pool pire laa so ñun we have a lot of differences between us even not as a government as a governance in terms of governance in terms of a government as a body no boy a country cannot develop without starting at community level social level suma waay nga de foofu mooy grassroots bi ba pare si kër bi la moo dooree sax
exactly
yow gis na si biir kër fii nii nit ñi dañoo mel ni ay tomanjeri dama yeneen dëkka da ngaa laal magi jàmbur famille bi ñoom ñëpp sot la
waaw
so maa ngi koo gis maa ngi gis ñeneen naka la ñu dundee bro
yar bi dafa
change ba pare people don't care anymore ne suñ bëggee xam government ni nu gis nga dama dégg borom xam-xam yi di ko wax ñu ne yàlla suy jox dëkk buur li hadis moo ko wax Quran moo ko wax du man maa ko wax de dama ko laajte ci borom xam-xam yi ñu ne yàlla suy jox dëkk buur dafa xool nu waa dëkk ba mel seen jikko mu jox leen buur bu mel noonu if we want to resemble about what Yaya Jammeh was doing before when he was here xoolal jikko Yaya Jammeh ak nit ñi yëpp benn lañu woon suñu xoolee nguur gi bu nguur gi ñëwee ñu ne nguur gi mu ngee naxaate dañ corruption bi dafa bari xoolal nit ñi seen jikko yi ñu ne neen ku nekkaa ngay xool naka ngaa naxee sa morom so our leadership resemble our attitude
it's a reflection
and it's a reflection I do not say this li Quran na ko wax ak hadis
but I mean if you look at it practically it is a reflection of
it's a reflection niñ weccu suñ jikko yi
I agree
ñu ngi xeexante ñu ni neen man tey yow tey su ma xamee ne Gandoo tey moo fi ibi restaurant man su ma jënd sorry I am not being Republican or I am not being racist non damaa dem yow lay patronize waaye boo muy tuut yow muy ñëw di jaay spray sax wala di jaay restaurant dinañ la leb ba sa spray bi jeex xam nga lu ñu wax xay man si Ablaye nangam laa dee jëndee suma spray yi xay man si diw sangam fa laa dee jëndee fufu waaye duñ la patronize yow mi nga xam ne yaa nekk di jaay wala yaa nekk di defit so we have a problem as people and if we do not change as people to be honest we cannot bring any meaningful development in this country because it starts at social level and I know because I'm very addicted to social man xam naa lii def si réew mi te gis naa nit ñi seen mindset dama dee waxtaan ak nit ñi seen gis-gis dangaa jóg di dox dara sax dañ naan boo yaa ngi waste time ndoo yi bàyyi leen London corner bi fa problème bi xappu ne xale yi jóg di attaque imam yi di rapino imam yi di dóor imam yi ba imam yi fu waree dem suñu waree dem si jumaa yi sax dañoo yóbbu jaas yi di rapino jabari imam yi di rapino ay kilifa ñi nga xam ne sa laalaa ne xale yu gën a tuuti 13 years yaa ngi génn ñu ngi laa rapino diggi bëccëg ndara kaama the entire community ñëpp ñu ngi toog téye seen loxo soo wee ñu naan ñii dañ xalaku soo wee ñu ne ñii amuñ ñaan but do they try to approach these young people and know what is their problem man approach naa leen du benn du ñaar du ñetta offer leen job offer leen scholarship try naa all effort bi ma xamee ne lii mënuma koo saafaraal man suma boobu maa ñëw ak ay mbootaay ay ndaw ñi nga xam ne am nañ yëg-yëg bi luy xew ñu jóg dem fekk ji xale yi jàppaleen ba pare yóbbu leen ci loi ndax man suma xaaroon police bu ñëw arrest ñooñu wala jàppaleen ñooñu no am a citizen and every good citizen is a police I conducted a citizen arrest without any harm I went and picked these boys and took them to the station and hand over them to the police and allow them to do their job su ma neexoon ma ne suma yoo nekku si saatuñ ma waaw wala ñëwuñ laal suma papa non because sometimes léegi soo saafaralul mbiri suy ñëw sa kaw la moo dal doo dee xam fitna bi fan la moo mujjee so man su ma dee def dama dee feel like ne I am a Gambian bugguma xool lan laa amee suma poos bugguma xamee lan laa denca lu ma mun a def ma xaw ne lii su ma ko defee lii yàlla daf ci dee def barke te daf ci dee def wécceeku I just do it am na ñoo xam ne soo demee wax a ñoom rek dañ jee wécceeku am na ñoo xam ne dama wax a ñoom du benn yoon du ñaari yoon dañ wécceeku ñeneen ñaari yoon laa waxtaan ak ñoom rek ñu gis seen boppa ba pare delluwaat ci jikko yi ñu nekkoon ba pare ñu ngi koo def waaye ñun dañ jee seetaanante ñun duñ jee advice ante ñun duñ jee himeku duñ jee lu olof de himaleku doo dee ñëw nga ñun duñ jee neemeeku wante we don't even care as far as gisuñ la yaa ngi sol lu seer yaa ngi nekk si moto bu correct si dawal lu correct di feye ko salary wala yow nobody cares you hay saa bandi la du tekki mu ngi si ghetto bi moom kañ amul aim dafa useless these are the people moom sax am na wéyam bu mu ko woy am na wéyam boo xam ne wax na ko so these are things loo xam ne dañ ko war a bàyyi lii yëpp dañ ko war a bàyyi pour suñu buñ buggee dem man du ma waxagum si central government de wala tubaab bi de
problème si am before dafa bëri
fii la starté
it's too much
moom si boppam du wéy na lu mel noonu so nobody cares so suñ laa romba si péegi mbéere sax duñ la faale and nobody will come to you and ask you lan moo tax ngay def lii so lii yëpp dañ nekk loo xam ne nañ ko bàyyi waat xel ñu dimbalante at society level man that's what I want to advise Gambians at large and we as people as human we need to make sure that the contribution that we need to do to contribute our quota to national development it doesn't start from what we call the central government no it starts from who we are and these are the attitudinal change I am trying to talk about. Loolu suñ ko deful suñ la defee ministre sax benn jikko bi nga faa wone rek.
The same
it's
thing,
the same.
And that's my problem. And the problem that I have is blame game bi la like it.
Yes.
duñ mën a wax everything is Western problem or government problem or Senegalese problem or X problem or Y problem. We need to look internally. Ñun as an individual, what are we doing differently? Because comme noo ko waxee Gambia ñun dañ dee wax waaye duñ dee def. Understand nga? And I think change needs to start small. Dafa war a start
and grow big. It's just like a fire. Fire starts at small.
Exactly. And to wait ne we need help to basically get to where we want to get. Loolu danga na sa boppa. Kenn du la ñoo dimbale.
No.
You have to do it yourself. You know, when it comes to agriculture, I mean, the government, there's a limited amount of things that they can do.
This is why China was called the People Republic of China.
Of China, PRC.
Yes, it's because of the people built the country.
The people built the country.
And this is why China becomes one of the super world power on earth.
Exactly.
Because what they did is they tried to make everything is Chinese. They speak Chinese.
You think
they wear Chinese. Everything it is made by them.
You think China was waiting for the West to come and give them funding, or for Africa to come and give funding? No. They actually worked for it.
I said they even have their own Facebook. Everything is built in Chinese.
And this is my point.
All communication, it is made in their own belief, in their own culture, in their own faith, because of the people. And I don't want to wait for people to tell me that this is what you have to do. No.
Yeah. You should know.
You should know.
Because problems ya ko nekk di
xam nga réew mi ñan ñoo ci bokkul. ñi nga xam ne dañ ñaanuñ ko yàlla duñ ne ok baalal ma ci kaddu bi nii I'm not being racist or being pointing fingers. réew mi ñan lañ mënut a sika mooy ñi nga xam ne dañ ne seen xel yi neexut. mooy ñu ne dañ am feebari xel mooy dof ci gàttal. ak ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi ci kaso bi. ak ñi nga xam ne dañ feebar ñii lañ mënut a teg tax ne ñii dañ have to contribute because ñooñu fitna buñ amee rek seen problème yi ñooñu doy na ñooñu dañ leen ko wàcceel. mooy ku feebar ki am feebari xel ak ku am feebari yaram mooy ki nga xam ne mu nga tëdd lopitaan ak ku tëdd kaso ñii ñoo amul responsibility pour def because they have their own problem and they are in one place but the rest kan nga tane jàppale ko.
Exactly.
because du ñàkk am nga kenn koo xam ne yow yaa ko tane fuuf.
Exactly.
mun nga koo dimbale gis nga man ñi maa dimbale yëpp gando to tell it reality dama leen tane wala ma ëppaleen muñ wala ma ëppaleen yenn bunte yi nga xam ne gis naa ne lii opportunity la ma jox leen ko. te doesn't mean ne nekkuma di struggle with the pain. No, I am still struggling. léegi-léegi mu métti léegi-léegi ma caalit waaye man comme li ñoo wax who feels it knows it jaar naa si stage bu gars yi nekka noonu dafa nekka ne stage yi suñu mbedda ok yàllaa ngay def jógee woon naa fii métti woon na fii tane na tey léegi man fi ma jógee foo xam ne léegi tane na tey léegi ana fi ma jógee woon ñi ma fa bàyyi ndax maa ngi gëstu ñooñu lii yëpp dañ ko war a consider it's not only about family wala suma jabar wala suma yaay déedéet dafa am loo xam ne di nga ko yóbbu ci family waaye dafa am loo xam ne family bi war nañu koo lekka de si biti nga ko war a joxe. because boobu sa réew la te sa wareef la pour nga def ko. waaw révolution bi man si man noonu laa ko gisee.
I agree. I completely agree with you. And the last time Tafta fi ñëwoon mënu leen explain dara. Actually it was not on the show mooy suñ waxtaan bu ñu doon waxtaan mu ne daf gis fii nii mango season daf day ñëw mango daf day ñor si kaw guy bi di daanu di yaa doo gis benn youth di mobiliser seen bopp ñu ne xangalal la ba ñu dem ñu uti saaku di dajale ñu dem jaay. Guinea Bissau. Cashew season su jotee. ñu de. you know about it.
I know.
Youth yëpp a dee dem si ob bi.
waaw ma ne amut youth bi Gambia sax nga gis ñu jógee fii di dem forage ji kasu. Cashew bi ñoo forage ji mango bi mu ngi fi mun nañ koo for.
mango bi mun nañ koo for exactly.
ok dogguma la dama dee dégg ñu naan am na loo xam ne doo ko mun a def sa biir dëkka du dëgga. That is not true. Senegalais bi if you go to Senegal the coffee tuba they are selling here they are selling the same coffee tuba. The work the Senegalese are doing here they are doing it in Senegal.
lu ko raw.
Gambians we have pride.
lu ko raw.
Gambians we have pride. Hay saay maçon la di hay saay nii la di dafa dem ba nga xam ne dañ la di stigmatise ba nga xam ne yow soo bëggee def raba yooyu sax du dee bëgg a nit ñi gis la da nga gis koo xam ne jógee na liggéey métier. pour mu ñibbi sax ak liggéeyu métier bi sax daf koo ruus dafa am pour sénégalais nga gis ku jógee si fita garage bi ak yéreem boobu ñibbi waaye Gambie bi di nga gis foog mu ceeñ foog mu solu sax rafetal fi moo liggéeyee noonu si naka la turaati si garage bi oo si place bi moo sampee foog nga gis mu jéem a laal spray soluwaat nga xam ne du dajee jànxaam bi wala du dajee doomi baajenam wala du dajee xaritam bi because lii yëpp complexity moo ko dee indi.
naka nga complainer ne affaire sa dafa métti when you're not really ready to commit.
This is the issue bro. This is the issue.
Don't wanna blame anyone.
We as citizens we as people we are not making effort pour ma wala reality. Boy man liggéey naa a lot of young people.
I agree.
Support naa leen in so many things. Establish now so many things. But can you imagine? It's the same young people that will put you down. bro.
Agreed.
Our commitment as people and as social level dafa des.
Dafa des.
yow li ma wax nii xam nga ko bu baax.
bu baax a baax.
so fii instead ñu push la dañ laa kick.
I agree.
dañ am jikko. dañ am attitude ñun suñu xol yi moo ñu sonal. And if we do not change our hearts and our mindsets, even if Joe Biden, you bring Putin in the Gambia, you bring the president of India, and all these prophets and messiahs in this country, this country will still complain. And we will not make any move.
I agree.
Dañ am problème bro.
Man dama feel like léegi complain feebar la because soo nekkee si complain doo si musa génna and all you're seeing is just problems and problems yoo xamante ni you're not willing to take the step to actually fix it because loo nekk expect moo nekk Gambian always have this ne there's someone else that's responsible for this problem so dañoo nekk di wax all the problems lii baaxut lii dugga na fii nii I mean yow sa own bunti kër da ngaa clean sa biir kër waaye doo laal si biti wala nga gis ne sa koñ bi pax la sa kër bi moom di nga ko tayal di nga ko defal ba mu nice
nga xaar ko jóg
pour ñoo defal si biti fekk yow sa moto yi sax foofu nga dee drive
we have a problem
Senegal this is my experience of doing documentaries for some time working with the likes of SOS amoon nañ benn project bu nekkoon di def Farafenni SOS did the project they gave funding to communities ñoo xamante ne seen doole dafa des and one thing that I noticed with Gambian community bi compared to anga Farafenni ngi bari Senegalese community foofu noonu nga Senegalese community bi gars dañ organise seen bopp anyway boo xamante ne xaalis bu ndaw bu ngay jot from SOS ñoo xamante ne femme la ñoo xamante ne jaaykat leen dañ am like comme des fàtte naa nu ko dee waaye basically every month da nga jël xaalis nga ñëw nga dugal ko si ko dafa mel ne comme kees la daal forme fa ususu la and xaalis boobu noonu ku si am problème dañoo faj sa soxla te same xaalis boobu noonu dañuy build seen community xam nga Gambian community bi la buñ doon interview gars de every time boo fa demee ñu ngi ñaan
yes we are good at begging
every single time ñu ngi ñaan
yes we are good at begging
problème bi dafa lifin problème bi dafa lii waaye ñële xaalis bu ndaw bu ngay jot nga jël nañ développe nañ seen boppa wallaay comme I'm not even making this up maa ngi amee vidéo xamante ne after mun naa la ko share da nga gis ne like comme Sénégalais lu ngay def moo nekk ñu ngi sant yàlla xaalis bu ndaw boo leen ñu jox ñu ko njëriñoo mun nañ see dimbale ñeneen ak ñeneen
and they will increase the money
they will increase it dañuy wax ne like comme su fekkee mun nga ñëw yokkal ndimbal dinañ ko apprécier waaye fu mu nekk nii moom lu ndaw a ndaw lu ñu am ñu ko utilize the Gambian community they are always begging
yes
and naxari naa wax
yes
but
it's the reality
and this is things that I saw for myself
yes, it's
by
the
conducting interviews dañoo ñëw ñu wax man la comme yow war lee waxalaa kii ne waxalaa kële dam leen man damaa ñëw rek shoot man moo dara laa si mënut but every single time with all the years that I've gone doing these documentaries for the same project Gambian communities they are always begging. That's a problem.
Yes, doguma la sax woo tax doorin bi maa ngi laa ne Gambia métier good because suñ dooree bay jënd ndoxi jàppa all of us will get up and work because we are not working as a nation to be honest pour wala reality we are more good at criticizing and then bring in solutions. This is our problem. So ñun suñ jógut like why gan yaa ngi ñëw fii ñu siisu toog because fii is another jannat in other places of Africa because Gambia ba léegi yaa ngi mun a dem ñaan nit ñu jox la ndox nga ñaan ñu jox la waaye soo jógee mu óor la ne sa pompe bi tëj na tey doo sangu kenn du la wax ne tri lañ pompe bi de ibi di nga jóg dama laa just sample rek pour wan la ne yeneen effort yi ñoo def to survive a day we are not doing those efforts to survive a day because of why things are still easy. I told them this country is not hard yet. Let's wait. So you talk a full day because even in other countries, even in Ghana, you see somebody will sit the whole day. The person will be managing one food. You will never see lunyo oye nyamimba. You will not see it in other countries. Nini di tour leka. Fofu leka su 2 days small masi like people like me. If I buy Indomie, what they call Indomie, if I eat Indomie, mudes tuti. Mo buga ko sani wala tekone. Nga de are you done? Yes. You will not eat again? No. Nga give it to me. Nga gis mu jëm jël ko Indomie bi mu amé won ci suba si. They will add it with that Indomie in the morning. The breakfast that you want to throw in the morning, they will add it with the one that you want to throw in the evening. They will package it and eat it. Outside of this country, from Banjul to Koina, people don't throw food. They only throw food when the food is poisonous. When they know when they eat it, it will kill them. They only because I am okay, this is why I'm throwing food. No. boy dëkk bi métteegul.
I agree.
Let's get up and work as a nation.
I agree.
If we are not working as a nation, it's
agree.
going to be a problem. And the impact of this development that we are talking about, it has to start at community level and social level.
And even
this is the fact.
And even the problem is, though they have the Gambia and you until you become a business owner.
Yes.
A lot of businesses are failing in the Gambia. And it's not because the concept of the business is wrong or there's something wrong with it. It's because Gambians are not ready to work. And they'll make your business go run down.
I'm not limiting what you're saying. Quickly to come on that. For me personally, I have started so many things in this country before any other media houses, with very good contents, with very good equipments. But can you imagine? At times I will travel and leave people on the ground with my cameras, with my materials, and even leave a 3-month salary for them. And these are the same people that I believe they will be good at that management level, with the big mouth, with the big talks. ñoom ñooy jëlaat instead ñu def sa liggéey bi dañoo dem di suti ay ngénte di suti ay vidéo clip di suti ay dëcc ba pare di instead liggéey luñu la ñu ngi dem liggéeyal seen boppat fay nga leen seen xaalis.
Exactly.
Gambia they are not good at collectively. No.
ñun
man li ma wax nii yaa ngi ko wax but I feel bad about it ba nga xam ne dañ dee toll foo xam ne dañ dee wax ne ñun sax xaaral ñu dem fu ñoo toog ba di feel Guinea Bissau is our home, di feel Ghana is my home, di feel other countries as my home. It's not because of we as a government, that's why I feel that. It's because of we as people, this is why I feel that. Because we don't chase each other. If I am going to be Guinea-Bissau or Ghana, if you meet me in Ghana or Guinea-Bissau or other countries, you thought that maybe I'm a minister that came for a visit. Mm-hmm. You see how they chase me, how they celebrate my effort. And this country is sad. Yes, as the follow dara, they don't compliment of your effort. Once you pass a year, they consider what? Yeah. Do you not consider the key once Mustama exactly. effort someone see some activity?
Exactly.
No. And when there is benefit or wursak bufen, you are not part of that. They will rather bring out new people, bring out new friends, bring out new families, even at not on at society level, Lalawa.
Yeah.
If this is not changed as a society and as people, we are not living an inch. And I am saying this because of my travel exposure. Different countries that I moved, that I traveled to in Africa, and what Gambia definitely, where we are heading to, is totally different. And it's because of our own people that are doing this. So I will not put the blame on anybody that is taking the leadership of this country. But if our attitude did not change, we will have another president that is even more worse than Yaya Jammeh and Adama Barrow. And if this attitude does not change, next president, you might not know who the person will be, but you will know the exactly attitude. Ki nga Adama Barrow su fee génna xoolal jikko nit ñi yow naka nga mel ak man naka laa mel diw sangam naka la mel, you can predict the next president, their governance and their leadership skills, their leadership qualities, sorry.
Yeah.
Nu moo mel, it's very simple.
I agree.
Barrow suy waaj a génna yow predictal nit ñi seen jikko rek. So just pour bañ a guddal wax bi, just to bring the long story short, man, as a Gambian, I am playing my part. If every year I can help 10 Gambians to go back to school, bring them out from the ghettos. Recently, through the Egalitarian Foundation, we have supported nearly 40 young people to make sure that they go back to school.
Yeah.
And they are doing their tertiary studies in one of the institutions. Mm-hmm. And they are definitely getting benefits. Mm-hmm. Some of them are developing themselves in the IT field, mm-hmm. others in the graphics field. Mm-hmm. I took them to the Association of Gambian Sailors. Minimum every month you have there 20,000, 25,000. Lolu tay soko ñëwé nga dimbali ci sa bopa so ñëwé ma guide la lu ñu oyé career development plan may la okay dama bëgg every month nga jëna cash power ma nga jox responsibility day jëna saaku maal séfal defal li soko mëne jox ci community bi def ko yow dimbale na la waye dama la dimbale pour yow tamit nga dimbale keneen so xolal ko tane nga dimbale ko and this is how I am contributing te man duma borom xaalis. It's not that I save millions in the bank, but I am doing it because of why I feel man Gambian la lan la wara mëna defal suma dëkk not suma dëkk lu ma wara mëna defal waye man lan la mëna defal suma dëkk so nit ki boy sentu lolu rek sa sawarte dafa yokku sa gorgolu dafa yokku sa mindset dafa change yow lay gis rek moy ne man ma wara defar kenn ku nekk na xol sa bop ne ma wara defar so xolé ne ma wara defar di nga gis ne lolu suñ ko bolé lolu dina am leneen li mo jur li basically Gambian ci man lu leen advice yaa xam fooy liggéey yaa xam koo àndal yaa xam koo àndalut waaye jikko boo xam ne la dafa war a nekk ay uniforme attitude boo xam ne ñun ñëpp dañ ko war a def ba pare ñu teg suñ difference ñi nga xam ne tamit ñoo nekk di liggéey ak président bi ñu make sure ne ñu bàyyi xel when it comes to their political powers let them use their political powers to inspire the new generation to develop the new generation yow dañ la président bi daf la jël because of da nga dafa believe ne am nga PhD am nga mahama ci liggéey bi mu indi la yaay minister of agriculture du Adama Barrow moo la war a xelal lan nga war a liggéey de yow mii yaa war a xelal Adama Barrow lan nga war a mun a def ak nguuram gi wala moom muy njiitam pour nga woon kon nga lii lañ war a def pour agriculture development.
Agreed.
So ñun ñëpp dañ am a contributing factor when it comes to the failure of this country. All of us.
I agree.
If Gambia fails, all of us fail. So lii dañ ko war a sóoraale yow fooy liggéey yaa xam naweek la su dee da nga daan sàcca foyal wécceekul nga bàyyi di sàcca foyal nga xam ne dañ la fa teg taxpayers money la pour nga fayee ko li nga xam ne loolu mooy sa aha ak yelleefu nit ñi mu em fa li ci des nga bàyyee ko réew mi keneen bu ñëwee tam mu def koota bu dee yaa ngee liggéey Gamtel the same it applies to you lan mooy sa njëriñu xam-xam ak sa maaxama dañ la fa teg dafa li la war directeur nga ministre nga lii moo tax président bi mu am mbootaay boobu noonu saxaaba yooyu noonu wër ko yonent bi noonu la doon def soo xamoon ne yow sa jaasi bi moo lii la daan def daf laa bàyyee ak aaxa bi ku nekk ak li nga mun lan moo tax kenn jëpp njóguñoon di nooda lan moo tax mu oyoon Bilal pour mu nooda because loolu it suits Bilal because baat bu neex bi ba pare mu ngi doon diverse ku nekk area am ku nekk responsibility am contribution am li nga war a def towards that winning a victory or achieving their goals so ku nekk soo bàyyee government bi ñëw dafa yàgga si prophète si la doore prophète bu ñëw da nga di ànda sa entourage but all of them they accomplish their mission how many prophets that came and went it's because of why they develop their followers the issue is if we want to develop as people we need to create leaders we don't need to create followers if you create followers tàccukat rek nga am ñu laa tàccu rek di la jey rek diw sa maamay diw diw sa xariti yaayaay diw diw yaa fi toj but if we try to create followers man noonu laa def man I always create followers dama laa build ma ne la yow I'm not building you to come and work for me I'm not building you for this I'm building you for this purpose and I want you to build someone else this is an empire all of us need to contribute our stones to make sure that we have a complete castle so we live in peace li suñ ko defut dinañ fi yàgga di goto dinañ yàgga naan lu sosee waa kaari koo diw sàngam kaari diw dañoo xëy rek ñu lem suuf si right now man dama wax ne ñun si àdduna bi ñun ñoo jël laas te lu tax ñu jël laas problème bi du Jawara de problème bi du Yaya Jammeh de problème bi du Adama Barrow de problème bi ñun la man la yow la as we pour gàttal kàddu gi rek just not to bring too much of controversial conversation because we're trying to bring, as you said, the daily dose is to try to inform the people with the right choice and also to share knowledge and things that are happening currently, like current affairs, not only at economic level but even at social level. And this is the problem. We are not participating at social level.
Agreed.
Man, you bari dañ ma de gis ne yow yaa ngi def li loo si dee am. Everybody asks me that. Damaa jël 3-4 days yoo xam ne damaa dem meet you talk. Sometimes tam 3-4 laay jóg ma xam ne campé bi su ma demee bëccëg du ma leen gis dama am pour dem 3-4 si guddi pour ne dem mit campé bi nii bañ a nelaw pour dem waxtaan ak ñoom dinaa fekk ñu ngi jël seen dose sax ñu ngi mandi sax ñu ngi nii but as a drug ambassador I have no choice it's a risk to make sure ne lii yaa facteurs yi yaa ngi ko bëgg a fight
sacrifice
and su ma demee mit leen dama am pour wan leen ne yow da nga am njëriñ nit ki da nga ko soo ko bëggee moom da nga ko nangu lim doon damaa dem di la jey di la wan ne how people look at you man I don't look at you like that ba pare yow you are potential ba pare waxtaan ak yow ci fànn yoo xam ne lii dina génnee njëriñ ba pare ñu dialogue may la man de am naa lii am naa benn liggéey de soo ko defee foog naa dina njëriñ waaye dama bëgg nga bàyyagum tux bi waaye xam naa ne tux bi mënuloo xëy rek bàyyi ko waaye naa leen ne join yi nga doon tux wàññi ko yaa ngi doon tux 10 join léegi dama bëgg ngay tux 2 join because jukko pour nga génne ko ci nit ki dafa laajte pour nga continuer di fóot moo tax da ngaa xaayi da ngaa fóot da ngaa yalandi da ngaa buloo da ngaa paase gis nga ni ñoo préparé yëre pour mu set pour nga mën koo sol noonu ngaa préparé jikko nit so dafa am stages and development also starts with stages foog nga goto Rome was not built in a day soo xoolee civilization nga xoolee yeneen dëkk yi in Europe how they were suffering very badly
they went through a process.
They were even before they live in these towers and skyscrapers they were once living in holes and caves and stones even in trees. And civilization, everybody knows that it starts from Africa. So whatever the West they are doing, we started it before them. Why we could not manage ourselves? Why we could not materialize what we have? So lii mooy problème bi. West become and copy it from us and modernize it and try to help us to bring it even back. ñoom ñu ngi ñëw sax di ñu dimbale pour ñu organize still sax mënuñoo organize. And if somebody is coming to help you to organize, they also might look at their profit. Their interest.
I mean,
man nag du ma mën a xëy suba ba ngoon booy ñëw endu fii booy di la endul mic di la endul caméra nga ma jërëjëf. If the West is coming back to take what they think that is part of their interest, yes, because they are spending time and energy.
Wow.
They are even helping us to organize ourselves.
Wow.
Which is sad.
Xam nga ñu la moo gën a funny I think ñun dañ dee bëgg ni mu dimbale ñu fekk du si njëriñ dara And ñun duñ mëna dimbale du mu sa dimbale nit fekk du ci jëriñ.
Never.
Gambia will not be like I'm going to support Senegal without thinking am na lu ci gaay di njëriñ.
Never.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
So if you're not going to do that, how do you expect someone else is going to do that for you?
Now let's take an example. Yeneen dëkk yu ñoo mention sax dafa sori. Senegal always promote their brand. Café Touba, if you go to Senegal now, ñu ngi ko def ci sachet yi.
Yeah.
It's only the Senegalese that are taking that Café Touba and doing those type of branding.
Yeah.
Those sachets and other things. Okay, now they promoted Café Touba, and now the entire world knows about Café Touba. If you go to France, you see the Senegalese, you will identify them different from the French people.
Yeah.
Do you know why? The Serigne Touba Njela they wear, or they must have an identity
You
that
see
you will
it.
see that key Senegalese.
You will see it.
It's either ñu la waa Baye Fall yaay Fall, it's either ñu la jërëjëf Niass, or it's either ñu la jërëjëf Touba, or it's either you see something that resembles Senegal,
Yeah.
and you know that these people are from Senegal.
Yeah.
They will be even selling Café Touba inside France, inside Paris. But just get inside Paris. If you don't mind, you meet a Gambian, you will think that it's a black French. To
Yeah,
tell
they
you that
completely change.
we completely change everything.
Yeah.
When we sing,
Yeah.
even our artists here, when we sing, we want to sing like Tommy Lee. We want to sing like Vibes Cartel. We want to copy like how Wally dance.
Yeah.
Dem nañ bi fula luñ suñu yëf ba nga xam ne tey su Wally Seck ooye woon tey moo doon gën a fees dan su Jaliba Kuyateh oote woon loolu moo laa ne Gambien bi gëmut boppam sax ku gëmut boppam même su amee xam-xam sax naka la réew mi di njëriñoo si xam-xam boobu
D'accord.
ñun we don't believe in ourselves
D'accord.
ñun si biti rek samba alaar lañ si biti rek and this is the fact
D'accord.
this is the hard talk bro
D'accord.
we are not changing we are not making change we don't want to change and it
D'accord.
will be difficult for us to see development
D'accord.
trust me nañ toog rek Adama Barrow liggéeyit Macky Sall liggéeyit Lawyer Darboe liggéeyit ñii ña kenn du what are you doing man lu ma dee bëgg a wax si kaw rek de ñun suñ problème yi ñun suñ jikko yi
lu gën a ëpp doole bi si suuf la nekk.
si suuf la nekka
Yeah.
booy man muy waxee yoon nii every day maa ngi defar suma jikko bi
Yeah.
saa yu ma demee tiré dama dee check lan laa peese lan laa def what have I done today
Yeah.
what was my plan for today man lan laa achieve si bés bi ba pare di check mistakes yi ma def bi maa wax a nit kàddu yu ma génnee waruma ko woon a génnee tànka yi ma jóg dox yoo xam ne yu ñàkk fayda la yëpp dama ko dee xalaat ci bés bi ba pare defaraat suma suba bés ëllëg bi ñëw jubliwaat ci moo di ëpp fayda bés bi ma mujjee
dëgg la. You know it's
dañ am problème de
dañu am problème.
bu mag te si ñun la suñ biir la
problème bi yëpp fii la. There's a lot that we need to do. Ndéri. Ana say moom. Rafa step out. Because man daal small problem bi it always comes back to the whole blaming.
Yes.
Man like ma di
dem nañu na blame bi mooy the only problem of this country
Gambia suñ continuer di blame suñ jikko suñ
because change let me tell you I would start it from myself
Mhm.
I was in the street smoking all types of tobacco. I started using drugs at the age of 13. I become a street child. I don't want to listen to nobody. I want to take my own way, with my own direction, without accepting parental care, or without accepting guidance from people that I call my superiors. But immediately I wanted to change. I tried to set myself. I make the decisions. Ne man dama bëgg change. Then when I want to change, I change. I started taking the good ways. Okay, man fii laay jaar lii laay def pour jaar fii nit yi laa war a àndal. nit ñi laa war a jëflanteel xelaat bi dama ko war a wecci nii laa war a xelaatee. If we are not doing all these things, it will be very difficult for people to help us to grow.
That is true.
Because yow yaa dee make decision bi.
I agree.
ne fii ngeen bëgg a aaga.
I agree.
And we are not making that decision. And what I did is I went with my rastas to Foreign newspaper that I want to become a journalist with my rasta. I was very rough. That day fekk maa ngi tux join bet lendem. I went to Halifa Sallah, I told him. I met one of the journalists there. I told him I want to become a journalist. Mu xool ma nu ma solo. Mu ne ma rasta journalist. Then mu door di ree. Mu door di ma bully in a jokery form. I visited Halifa. Halifa encouraged me that yeah, you can be anything in this world. I started reporting. I was trained in-house. I was given an in-house training. My English was very bad, not only speaking, but even writing. The grammars were very poor. I started developing myself, reaching out to, schools, returning back to schools. I was sitting in the same class with my younger brothers even. And then I was interviewing artists on a weekly basis. Entertainment, arts and entertainment. That's where I started my column as a columnist. I started developing myself, bringing more better education for myself, knowing how to do the job. As you said, you must, before you will be good in innovating, you must have to go and do research and studies.
You have to go through the learning process.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Then I developed myself from there, becoming a senior reporter at Foria newspaper. I proceed to iAfrica TV. We started iAfrica TV. I proceed to Star FM. And Fanny Fadera, we started Star TV. From there, I work with different international media houses. Then from newspaper, radio to TV, because I want to grow. And it takes me, because I was having a development plan for myself that within 10 years I have to achieve this. Within 10 years I have to get my own media houses. Then I start to press myself.
Yeah.
Before, at the age of 10, with all this development and plan that I have for myself, within 9 years, I started building my own media company.
Yeah.
I said I must have 3 or 4 skills within the 10 years. And that's what I did. Within 10 years, I went to study football business management in Ghana. Within 10 years, I studied sport governance and leadership. Within 10 years, I still further my study and I further football intermediary and sports agent. Within that 10 years, I also studied maritime. That's where I become a sailor, an able-bodied sailor in that matter. Some of you can see gal, maintenance, the pentur gal, the tolio gal, langane kidu man. Nga meet me on board on ships, working, langane kidu journalist be. You meet me in the newsroom, it's a different story. And also I was trained as a master trainer, global trainer on drugs. Like I'm a substance use disorder counselor. Mun nañoo jël xalé yi di len himele ko di len topato ci lolu faji xel la pour ñu bayyi drogue bi nga xamné ñu ko laal moy counseling. When it comes to drug counseling, I'm a certified one. 4 métiers la tek te emuma fofu ma ngi target 6 su moy ci bi doxot bi dox te yoy yeb ma ngi ko useful dimbele suma bop ak society. We have limitations of what we want. We have limitations what we want to achieve, and we have limitations even as a collective people that fii lañ bugg a aga as Gambia. Yow yaa ngi xalaat rek bugg naa sampa bugg naa am jabar bugg naa am doom bugg naa am lii bugg naa am ñetti kër bugg naa dawal ñaari moto waaye ndax yow yaa ngi xalaat dëkk bi lan nga ko war a defal.
Exactly.
lii yëpp yi are not thinking ñun suñu boppa rek. dëkk bi mooy boppa sa boppa.
Yeah. So it's ku nekk ak boppam la.
ku nekk ak boppam.
You know, they said if you have a vision, yaa amee a very clear vision, and you do everything possible pour nga achieve vision boobu noonu. Sa doxin looy lekka ban time ngay tira ban time ngay eew basically every decision you make pour nga achieve decision boobu kenn mënut laa stop.
waaw kenn mënut laa stop. So man doguma la gom boobu laa am. And everybody has been telling me yow yaa ngi def lii ma ne ko li maa def noonu yëpp moo tax mu mun maa njëriñ keneen. ma ne ko my plans and my projects, they are not community project. Man, what I am doing, my goals, they are not community project. I am not there to impress anybody. My goals are not supermarket foods to impress anybody. My goals is to help myself and to help my community, my family, and my country. Because the issue is man nekku lima def defuma ko pour suma boppa kese. Non, su nekkoon suma boppa kese la. Tey leneen la ñoo wax waaye dama si nekk di sóoraale nit ñi. Te loolu suma wareef la. Ne good citizen bu baax bu nekk war ngaa sóoraale ki nga tane.
You have to give back.
You have to give back. Give back nekk doesn't mean da nga war a sampa factory. It's not about that. Am na xale bu nekk sa koñ ku dem IT rek la bëgg a def 3500 mënu koo fay jaxal na grade 12 sax mu ngi jaxle mu ngi xalaat man lan laa war a def bu ko foog ne su jaxlee grade 12 sax dafa war a dem liggéey fi ko xamul ne mu ngi war a dem pour jàng professional course professional programmes yi mu war a def so ñeneen ku dem sa ndeysaan jeexal nañ they are already confused, they don't know what to do. Ndax yow approach nga leen nga cancel leen wala nga ibil leen opportunity wala mun naa contribute. Nit kuy dem school nga xam ne sa kii daf di observe na daf dee late nga ne xaaral every month ma ko jot 300 muy contribute si education am pour muy mun a pass. We should be all doing all these things. Nekku ne man awma because fii soo yem ne awma yaa ma tane man léegi-léegi dama dee jàppale nit sa nga foog koo xam ne man damaa óor ne financially kii moo ma tane. Am na léegi-léegi yenn contribution bi ma dee def si nit sax da nga dee feel ne man dama denc alal bu dul jeex fekk du loolu de. I feel I know how it feels when you don't have. Te man su maa def dama dee guma bugguma xool kii Youssou Ndour la bugguma xool kii Omar Pène la bugguma xool kii Mohamed Diallo non man ay kilifa dañ ma dee seet si am xaalis ñu nga xam ne ñu ngi liggéey ci nguur ñu ngi ne am si place yu baax dañ ma seet si ñuy dem ma xool suma table bi gis na maa ngi fa amee 200 $300 ma ekkati 200 bi fekk 300 rek laa dese may la jëndal guru wala jëndal njëgi essence dañ dee tiit because Gambian bi lan la dañ dee expect ne kii ambassadeur la directeur la yaa ma war a jox So I don't look at what you have. It's not my business. Joe Biden mun na ma invite mu ñëw sama ekkati $200 ma jox ko. I don't mind whether it's Joe Biden is a billionaire. No, I feel like I want to give. That's all. Come on, I don't ask for in return.
Yeah.
So I was looking for in return for this country. Ndikon vying now for political position bu yaga. Te nit ñi dañ ma sanil. But I am not interested in those things. I am interested to make sure that Gambia dafa wécci ko. Man problème yi Gambia la amé. Daf ma dejo stress léegi ma tok suma ni ma la dika bi sama joy. Mu melni dama am dëj wala dafa am luma nit def fekk xam nga lu ma ngi gis yeneen dëkk ñu ko meek ñu ngi dem seen nit ñaa ngi dem waaye ñun wala ñu ngi delu gannaaw because suñ xoli la ak suñ ni ñoo xelaté suñ xoli ak ni ñoo xelaté moy suñ problème ku nekk yaa ngi bëgg a xool yaa ngi bëgg a tane sa morom bëgguloo sa morom mel ni yow de yaa ngi bëgg a tane sa morom pour yow sa morom des foofu xaaral ma tollu fii ñu xoolee ma nii everybody wants power in this country let me tell you everybody wants to lead. Everybody wants to lead. When I said everybody, I'm generalizing. Ku nekk dama man because kenn bëggut a topp kenn man maa ngi ñëw ci gàndoo ñu ngi liggéey yàlla may na ko xam-xami technology may na ko xam-xami mahama ci lii ci society media okay man I need to work with him I have to allow that he's my boss I have to support him because if you support gàndoo mu improve mu grow yow yaa ngi grow xool nañ ko xoolee Gambien si suñu bëggee dem nañ mel ni Youssou Ndour ak Mbaye Gueye Faye niñ mel.
Exactly.
xam nga fi ñu tàmbalee. man na ma ne jikkoom Youssou Ndour ak Mbaye Gueye Faye nañ ko jël. ñu dundee ko ñu ni neen. Be your brother's keeper.
Because Youssou Ndour su ko meekee there's no way mu bàyyi kii gannaaw.
daf ko meek.
te xoolal Mbaye Gueye Faye.
because lan la daf ko fa xaar.
Exactly.
we are not patient.
ñun
amuñ patient bro. dañoo start day am nga ñaata nit laa oo in different creative projects. déedéet because gisuñ ci xaalis gisuñ ci ne nañ war a struggle. déedéet da ngaa gis ñu dem Gambien gëmut future bi Gambien gëmut vision. naaw mu gis loolu ni ko dëkki raba.
And that's the problem because if you have a hustler mentality don't establish anything that's worthwhile.
du dem
and establishing dara la xamante ne it's going to be there for sa doom yi ak sa city dafa it needs time.
ñu lekk rek nañ am tey ñu lekk suñ poste bi 10. waaye sacrifice. no
and foofu laa disagree with Sparklyn it's the hustler mentality laa bëgg pour ñu génn si. dañu war a xoolal suñu bopp ñu start di defaraat from the foundation.
From the foundation.
all this complaining blaming ak yooyu noonu loolu lu ñu mën a yóbbu.
non amuñ foundation.
amuñ foundation.
te si koñ la war a dooree.
exactly.
ba pare di dajale xale yi di waxtaan ak ñoom di indi lu ñu ooyee self help projects. innovations yoo xam ne you don't even need government to do it for you. because man def naa innovations yoo xam ne government never supported me. in any of my projects. and then I am doing it mu ngi effective. do you know when I started this 12 years ago. Since 2011, I would travel to the sea. The money that I receive, if I come and help my family out of it and help myself, sometimes I don't want to dimbele suma bopa. Dama dimbele suma family, then man okay, dama buga dimbele ñaari xale ñu def IT. I paid IT certificate then diploma for them. Every year minimum, it depends on the time that I am doing it. Every year dama dimbele 10 xale. So le ko xol depuis 2011. It's either suma la dimbele ñu am liggéey na leen dimbele ñu dem school. Every year 10 yooyu dafa mut. 2011 ba 2023. So government gis ne kii day especially in the Drug Law Enforcement Agency during the World Drug Day the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes their representative was there ñoom ñu ne xam ne with surprise yow de dañ la bëgg a def the goodwill ambassador of the agency because you have been contributing a lot when it comes to the development of the agency and the society at large. Definitely at least we mënuñ laa fay we could not pay you we could not give you anything but we will give you at least a recognition to complement your effort. dama ko fa xaar dama ko liggéey te ba léegi man xaaruma ne agency bi they have to fund me government they have to fund me if I have 2-3 scholarships I support sometimes I take my clothes that I don't need I gather them I go to my friends I gather the other clothes that they don't need I pack them ma clean ko sometimes I know if I have to take it to the laundry it will cost me more money man maa dee sega ma fóot ko I will launder all the clothes clean them do everything iron them and go and donate it to people that need it. We have been doing all these things and people knows it. We are not doing it for popularity, for positions, no. Because yirmande nit yi ma am ak doomi adama because boy fii laa juddoo suma dëkk la. So it's a sad country. It's a sad country and why I said it's a sad country is because of people. Man, I'm very emotional when I talk about Gambia. It's very sad that we are not moving. Very, very sad.
Yàlla ñu dimbale. Ñu dimbale suñu bopp yàlla dimbale ñu. God help those who help themselves. But I mean, this has been a very, eye-opening conversation, and there's a lot to unpack for the viewers. And I just want to thank you so much for coming.